was done, I went out to get some work done because the work don't stop like right now. Like the work literally don't ever stop. So I had to get some stuff done. I apologize. I had to get some stuff done, and as I was getting it done, I started to notice a few things. And one of the things that I noticed, not to say I just noticed this, because I've been noticing this for the last maybe 15, maybe 20 years. It wasn't a inkling of a broken eggshell anywhere. And it's funny. Like I always, for some odd reason, I always think like, at any moment now, an egg is going to be hurled at me. Because I remember how I was at least once upon a time during Halloween, while I didn't, I guess, practice it, like put on costumes and such. We did other things. Perhaps maybe that's practicing, because it was a cultural thing for us South Jamaica Queens individuals, right? We used to throw all kinds of shit. Batteries, forget about eggs, batteries, potatoes, bottles, right? Other things that I won't incriminate myself. But even though all that other stuff that I just said is assault, but it was just bizarre, like how things are just so different. And I think about, I had a conversation with somebody earlier today, really earlier this morning. It was a young lady I know, and she was talking about how dangerous it is, because we was talking about the Trump thing. I don't know if you know about what's going on with Trump. He is, I guess, declaring war on these cartels. And she was speaking. She said she has a Hispanic background, and she was talking about how how dangerous it is. ICE is all over the place, and I'm just listening. And I'm like, you have any idea what I was doing 20 years ago, 30 years ago? And you talk about danger, like. Anyway, y'all see the thumbnail. You see the thumbnail. Alicia, light-skinned, pink-toe Andrews, was found not guilty. But the question is, did the jury get it right? Now, she got found guilty, right? But for a lack of a better argument, she was really found not guilty, considering what happened. This was a brazen event. Alicia Andrews, Isaiah Chan, Son Gatewright, Rashad, let me just read it over. Rashad Murphy and his brother, Davion Murphy, gunned Julio Foolio down. Partially allegedly, because they haven't been convicted of it yet. Alicia has. Now, Alicia was convicted of a specific kind of crime, right? It's manslaughter. Manslaughter is grossly different than murder in a first or second degree. Now, she was originally charged with murder in first degree, as well as conspiracy to commit murder in first degree. All the other subsequent charges was like less included offenses. So if in any event they can't prove she had a premeditated intent to perpetrate this crime, then it would go into murder in second degree, which is just intentional unlawful taking of a life with malice aforethought. And then the subsequent crime to that, which is separate and distinct, is less included, is manslaughter. Manslaughter goes into a criminal negligence or an unlawful act that result in someone's life being lost, whether it was intentional. No, let me take intentional off. Whether it was, I guess, whether she was knowledgeable or unknowledgeable of said act. Right, grossly different. And she was charged with that less included offense. She was charged with that last crime. She was acquitted of the other stuff. And then the interesting thing about it is, even though she was acquitted, it's still murder. Well, it's still manslaughter, which is the unlawful taking of a life, right? And she faced 15 years. First, though, put a 1 in the chat if you think she's going to get 15 years. Put a 2 in the chat if you think she's going to get a slap on the wrist. 115, 2 slap on the wrist. I got it backwards. 115, 2 slap on the wrist. 2 slap on the wrist. Right? Y'all think she's going to get a slap on the wrist? Y'all think she's going to get 3 years? It was a black man that got killed, right? Wasn't a nice Caucasian, a white man, a white woman. It was a black man that got killed. Actually, it's a black young man, right? Julio Foolio, I don't know, is he 20, 21, maybe 18, 19 when he died? I don't know his age. Don't quote me. They ain't going to slap on the wrist. Angie said slap on the wrist. My girl Val said 1. So you think she's going to get smoked? You think she's going to get the bonus? You think she's going to get the bonus? Instrong, what you got to say? Instrong came in. I haven't seen that name in such a long time. You and your arguments. All right. Time, not 15. You don't think she's going to get 15? Well, she can't get 26, babe. She can't get 26. You can't get 26. The max for that particular charge is 15. You can't get no more than 20, more than 15. You think she's going to get smoked? Remember, it's a black guy, you know. What do you know then? You know, what do you think the world cares? What do you think would happen to anybody if something happened to little old Mr. CKB? Nothing. It's on with the, you know, on with the game, on with the dance, as they say. But you know, when I covered this last weekend, I was talking about this impactful opening statement that's the state attorney, the prosecutor Scott Herman, this expert death penalty attorney, did. And I was like, yo, listen, if you ask me, when it comes to a trial, there's 3 specific points of a trial that essentially is what people really care about. It's the opening statement, because that's the contract that you have with the jury. That's what you say to the jury to say, hey, listen, based on it we got, what we intend on showing you is this, right? That's what the opening statement is about. And then the defense is, listen, I don't know what this joker talking about, but they ain't got nothing. So I'm sorry that you were sequestered, or at least called. I'm sorry that you got to get this little $75, but you know, you might as well, you know, listen, he's free lunch, you know, at least you can get free lunch. That's what the defense is essentially saying. So it's the opening statement. The second part, the more critical part, is if the person that's accused testified, or the person that suffered the injury, the actual victim, not a witness. The witness is cool, but if the victim said he did it, the jury want to see that. They need that. And then it's the closing statement. The closing statement is essentially the summary. It's from the lawyer's perspective, the attorney's perspective. It's to say, listen, just like I said when I first started this, when we started this and I said, we're going to prove this, we was able to prove this. Think of that, think of this, think of that, think of this, consider that, consider this, right? The defendant said this, the witness said that, the police officer said this, the expert said that. That's what the closing statement is about. And then when the defense attorney come up with the rebuttal, they like, listen, I don't even know why we were here in the first place. I told you she had nothing to do with it, right? That's the defense attorney's position. So what I'm going to do is I want to know where things went awry, because if you ask me, when I put my finger on a pulse of this case, at least the social media sentiment, social media collectively said she's cooked. Then Val said, Val said smoked. Collectively, social media said Val smoked, right? They came out with all of these machine guns and brass bags and text communications. You know, everybody was going crazy because she was laughing in trial and smirking and all of this stuff. Even if you look at the thumbnail, you see the thumbnail, baby. I'm getting good with these thumbnails. You see the thumbnail, baby. This old light-skinned girl smiling and stuff like it's just she's having fun. You know, they thought it was over. So we got to figure out where they went wrong. Toya said her name is Alicia Latoya. Excuse me. Latoya Andrews, I think 10, yes, if possible. I think she's going to get 10, even for a black man. You know how y'all hate black men? Not you guys. Of course, you guys love me. I'm a black man, right? I think so, at least last time I checked. I don't think this is mud or dirt. It's ash. It's ash, but what you want me to do? I'm a black man. You know how that cocoa butter the skin eats it, right? I can't find a good. Well, I do have lubricants that. All right, let me get off that. My mind is going somewhere else. But you get the point. 10 years? Let me ask you a question. Y'all think she's gonna do a deal with the government? Remember, she hasn't been sentenced yet. Those other kids have a trial to attend, right? You think she's going to take this 10? Let's just say 10 years on the table. Let's just say 15 years is on the table. You think she's going to take 15 years? OB, yo, listen. Let me stop it right here. I wish I had my thing. I could go, OB, listen. What I said last time I said I was thinking about. You know what I was thinking about? Not that. But you know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about this. I know you do movie, what's the name? Movie reactions or something like that. It was this movie. It's kind of old now, but it was this movie called House of Dynamite. Fire. I was dying to see if you did a reaction to that. Fire. Anyway, let's get back to it. So, yeah. So the judge showed disdain for those niggers Those nigga men attorneys. I don't know about that. Do y'all know what judge this is? Y'all know who do you have any idea who this judge is? Like, what's her significance? Let me see if I can find the significance of this particular judge. I don't know why I don't have this boot up. I do not know why I don't never have my shit set up. The judge of this trial is none other than this. Y'all remember her? Y'all remember this judge? Oh, I'm gonna put it this way. Y'all remember this fucking guy, Sideshow Bob? That's the same judge. This is the same judge. Let me see if I could find that argument where you guys are kind of referring to where they was going back and forth. Where is that shit? I don't have it. I thought I had it. Where the judge was kind of woofing on the defense team. But this is the same judge. You remember her? Look how she looking at him. Look how she looking at him. Like, it's just all kinds of just disgust. That's the judge in this Alicia Andrews trial. I don't know why nobody put it together. Let me see if I can find. It was a particular point. Look at your man. Look at your man. Look at the judge and look at your man. Yo, listen, you don't know. Hold on. Let me go back. Damn, why did I put it on this? I gotta take this off. I didn't mean to put it on this one. Let me close. Let me stop the screen. Stop the screen. But hold on. Let me go back. You never heard of House of Dynamite? You slacking on your Mackin, baby. You never heard of House of Dynamite? Let me see if I can find. I apologize. We're gonna get to the show in a minute. I guess as you guys come in, I guess you get it when you fit it. Let me see if I can find this. House of Dynamite. You never heard of House of Dynamite? Where's my Let me see if I could. Where is it on? Is it on Netflix? Where's House of Dynamite on? Hold on, let me see something. Okay. This House of Dynamite. What the fuck is that shit at? Is it on Netflix? Somebody tell me what's it playing on? Is it on Prime? Is it on Netflix? What the fuck is it playing on? Can somebody tell me what the hell is it playing on? That shit is so fire, son. Like, I'm into movies like that. I'm into like these end of the world movies. Fire. Let me see if I could find like a picture of it so you can see this shit right here. Did nobody saw this? You got Idris Elba. All right, so I'm gonna go to Netflix right quick. Let me go to Netflix so you can kind of see. I'm not gonna play it obviously because they'll copyright the shit out of this. Hold on, let me go. Let me boot up on Netflix. I'm gonna boot up on my Netflix. Log in. I'm gonna show you right quick. Give me a second. This is completely off the rail. I'm booting in right quick. Hold on. How do you mute this shit? Because Netflix. Fuck. Because Netflix will mess you up if you stream their stuff. Like, they're really, really powerful. They're really, really powerful. They will copyright the hell out of you. Seconds they on you. I'm trying. Here we go. Fuck. How do you? Here we go. This right here. Let me share it. This right here. Let me share it. This shit is so fire, son. I don't know how you don't know about this. Like, I'm shocked. You don't know nothing about this? This is so fire. House of Dynamite, you gotta react to this. Have to react to this. Anyway, let's get to what we're talking about. So my question was, where did they go wrong? Like, what happened with this case, with this trial? Like, what happened with Scott? Because Scott did the opening statement for the state and he disappeared, right? When Alicia Andrews decided to testify, and when a judge said, listen, you do not have to testify. You cannot be forced to testify. If you testify, you hold yourself under controversy. The prosecutors can ask you relevant questions, but anything during this course examination. They can get in. They can talk about your past. They can talk about anything that in any capacity show that you were lying. Obviously, the judge didn't go to that extent, but that's essentially what the judge said, right? This very same judge here who essentially has absolutely no patience. So just look at this judge's face. Just look at her face. She has absolutely no patience, no tolerance for this shit. Look at your man. Look at this. Look at this. Look how she looking at him.
Like I told you earlier,
Her face.
you will know the truth, whether in this trial
Look at her face.
or the next one.
Like,
Better believe it.
like she just completely, she pulled the glasses on. Look at your man.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, God damn it, I'm not.
All right, Mr. O'Neill, please stop
And
using.
you know the funny thing about this? You know who he's talking to? Like, do anybody have any idea who this maniac is talking to? He's on the entire trial, the entire time, he's looking directly at the prosecutors. I never could understand that. Like, even when we have clients and we have a trial, it's like they have all of this disdain for the prosecutor. Like, motherfucker, just doing their job. Like, listen, it could be you, it could be Paris Hilton. They don't give a shit if you're accused of something. They're going after you. And they're not going after you per se. They're just showing whether or not they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you've met that you've committed what the crime's elements state. Remember, like I say all the time, a crime is not about what you did or didn't do. It's about whether or not the prosecutor could prove their case, prove that you're guilty of said crime beyond a reasonable doubt, right? So that means they have to show to the jury or the judge, depending upon what kind of trial you had, whether or not you committed the elements of these charges. That's it. It don't matter if you did it or not. You could listen. If Alicia Andrews was only charged with conspiracy, it could be a video of her machine gunning Julio Foolio down. That has nothing. That does not mean she's guilty of conspiracy. The only thing that shows is she killed Julio Foolio. That's it. But killing and murder, two different things, right? Two different things. All right. Anyway, let's go to where this thing could have possibly went wrong. Because I think up until the point Alicia testified, I think it was like 60-40. And I say 60-40 because, in my opinion, looking at the trial, and he's catching it glimpses here and there. You know, remember, I do got a job. I'm not rich like you guys. I'm a lawyer on the budgets. I got shit that I got motions to write. I got stuff to do, right? If I want to continue to see this money, actually, I got this shit back. Well, let me show you because I don't think you guys can see. Give me a second. Let me switch the camera around. I just realized that the camera is backwards. So how do I switch the camera around? See, I'm supposed to have this thing situated. I don't know. Oh, here we go. I don't know why I have this thing like this. Let me see if I can switch it around. Video settings. Video. Let me see. How do I switch it? Oh, here we go. Okay. Actually, I'm going to put it on auto, but then I'm going to switch. There we go. So you guys can read. There we go. That makes more sense, right? You can actually read the shirt. You can read the hat. Yeah, that makes more sense. I like things to, stuff got to make sense to me. When I see videos, I'm like, hold on, what the fuck does that say? Why is this shit backwards? Get the fuck on. Right? I get frustrated really quick over stuff. In any event, so let's get back to it. So I was thinking about where they could have went wrong. And the times in which I had the ability to listen or watch what's going on, in my opinion, the prosecutor had a lot of evidence on the men. The prosecutor had a lot of evidence that Alicia was there, that she traveled with these kids, that they used her phone. But the evidence really was about that they presented that the men had these firearms, the men did the shooting, the men had this plan, the men. And Alicia was kind of like, with them, so to speak. Now that could kind of exude conspiracy. That could kind of breed conspiracy. Perhaps maybe you did conspire. I don't know. Right? Or maybe you just airheaded out. Maybe you were just there. I was looking at her interrogation, and throughout the entirety of the interrogation, as the cops were going over stuff, she kept like having these little, I don't know, these inappropriate laughs and scoffs. Right? Like it's almost like she's like bored, so to speak, not understanding that this is very well the likelihood of the rest of your life experiencing free air. And she kind of had this like, I don't know, like she's just there for the ride kind of vibe. So it really wasn't a lot of evidence that really went to the core of what role she played outside of just being there, right? Now it was evidence that she orchestrated the the Airbnb. It's evidence that she perhaps, was willfully or intentionally blind to certain things. But again, what you do is one thing. What the government could prove is another thing, right? Being willfully blind does not mean the same thing if you had the intentional uh, forethought to take somebody out or that you premeditatedly did something. It's more like negligence. It's more like a willful or unlawful act that you either voluntarily or involuntarily did, right? So here you have your boyfriend, a guy that you've been running around with that you claim you don't know is in a game, despite the fact you're taking pictures of this dude throwing all these finger signs in the air, using your phone to essentially say, yo, listen, he's over here, knock him off. Meanwhile, you're standing next to him. Now you could say, well, I didn't hear nothing he said. I don't know. Perhaps. But is it likely? Is it likely? I don't know. So, again, going back, circling back, I wanted to know how they fucked this up. Like, what did they do? Where did they go wrong to mess this up? So let's just check out this cross-examination. Because I think, like, even if you look at her opening, like she goes into the particulars of the abuse. And I think this was really important. I'm not going to show this, but this was like one of the key notes because, all right, let me just go back a bit. One of the things that you're going to see them pull out is the fact that she has this seemingly unyielding connection to this kid, Isaiah Chance. And Isaiah Chance, in my opinion, again, I'm not a gay guy, but like he's, let me show you a picture of him. I don't know. I guess you rate him. You ladies in the chat, you rate him. You let me know if you think this guy is an attractive man. Let me see something. Isaiah Chance. Let me see if I can find a photo of this guy. All right, hold on. Let me blow this up a bit. Actually, no, that's wrong. Let me take this out. Fuck. Give me a second. Again, I what do y'all think, ladies in the chat? What do y'all think about this gentleman right here? Let me see. Where did I put it at? Here we go. All right. Now, this is a terrible picture, but whatever. We're gonna work with it. What do y'all think about this guy right here? Is he a looker? Is he somebody that you would, I don't know, forfeit your fucking life for? Is he somebody that you will follow to the depths of hell for? Because that's essentially what she did. Right? You ask me, I don't know. But again, I don't know what you guys see when you see us. Right? Sometimes I'll be looking at myself in the mirror. I was like, I don't know what it is you see, but I appreciate it. So one of the things that the defense attorneys did, they was able to show this pattern of abuse and how he had this mental lock over her. Because again, a question would be, well, why is it that why would you follow him? Why would you drive from Jacksonville to Tampa? Why would you travel 4 hours? You don't know what's going on. Why would you go into an Airbnb with a bunch of dudes you don't know? Why would you go to the Airbnb and he go in the back side of it, or they go in the back side, you come in the front? Like, why are you driving? Why are you letting these people drive your car? Why are you driving to McDonald's, buying all this food for these? Like, what the hell is going on here? Why are you letting this dude just use your phone? You have a block on your phone. It's issues there. You went down there, I guess, to mend whatever relationship that was broken. You was pregnant at the time. Why is this? You was messing with somebody else. He's beating you. He's beating you up. You having all of these wounds and stuff. Why is this? You're an attractive woman. Why is this? And she said, yo, listen, I was in love with him. Whatever he said, I would do. Right? And it was a point that the state, in my opinion, missed because they went into the particulars, and we're gonna look at it in a minute, but they went into the particulars of she was still communicating with him while in jail. Like, there would be three-way calls, it was illegal cell phones, and she was to communicate with him. In fact, he was actually kind of coaching on what to say, what not to say. And she admitted, yeah, like I'm willing to do whatever he tells me to do. And when she said that, in my opinion, that's where it broke. Because now it's not about this chick being callous or even nonchalant or even scared or nervous. It could have just been she was naively caught up in the woes of his love as well as the passion of it all. Let's just look at this cross-examination. Now it's about an hour. We know, it's about an hour, so we kind of gonna jump in and out. But I want you guys to see what I saw, and then I'm gonna spruce into it. Check this out.
Ms. Andrews, you've testified about your on-again, off-again relationship with the co-defendant, in this case, Isaiah Chance. Is that correct?
Yes.
In fact, you told this jury about some instances where you had been hit by him. Is that correct?
I agree.
Yes.
You've dated Isaiah Chance for over 4 years. Isn't that true?
Not over 4 years.
How long?
It's about just 4 years.
Just about 4 years, okay. And it's been on again, off again, is that correct?
Yes.
And during that time period, you have dated other young boys, is that correct?
Maybe.
Does Kamari Outing sound familiar?
Yes.
He's a boy that you had dated, and you still were talking to him, in fact, up until the time of the crime, June of 2024. Is that correct?
We never dated, but yeah, I was talking to him.
Okay. And in fact, at some point, Isaiah Chance got upset and made phone calls to him, right?
Yes.
And you had conversations on your phone with Mr. Kamari Outing where you two discussed that. Isn't that true?
I believe so.
And they were still on your phone. They were backed up. They were saved on your phone, and they were on your phone on June 23rd of 2024. You never deleted these messages that you had with Kamari Outing. Isn't that correct?
I mean, I have to see the message. I don't know. What is that message?
Okay. Your Honor, I'll approach the witness. Would looking at those messages help refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Ms. Andrews, if you'll take a look at this.
Same one.
Ms. Andrews, you recognize these messages from your phone?
Yes.
And Kamari Outing, he was a member of 1200, isn't that correct?
No.
No? I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 75C12. That's a photo of you with Kamari Outing that was still on your phone. Isn't that true, ma'am?
That's not Kamar.
That's not Kamari?
That's my cousin,
Okay, what's your cousin's name?
Marcus.
Marcus? Okay.
And it's little shit like that. I'm not gonna keep stopping it, but it's little stuff like that that's really frustrating. Like here you're projecting this imagery, or you're projecting this idea of this kid supposedly doing this, and you got the fucking wrong kid up. Like now, I'm not saying I'm for the state, but it's like, come on, that's sloppy, right? That's sloppy. Like you don't know who your own defendants are. Anyway, let's go.
And in this messaging with Kamari, he's upset because Isaiah Chance has called him and basically told him that you're with him and that you're pregnant, and you're still trying to get Kamari Outing to talk to you, right?
Objection, hearsay, and relevance. Have a roll.
Isn't that true, ma'am?
Yeah, that's my best friend.
And he doesn't want to because of Isaiah Chance, correct? In fact, you're the one that keeps on insisting that he not block you and that you and him continue to talk. Is that correct?
Yeah, but the message behind that, that's my best friend. And Isaiah called him It was just going on and on about, he didn't want him to, he was giving him a reason to not text me back, to not talk to me. That's what that was about.
And so despite the fact that Isaiah Chance doesn't want you to have anything to do with him, you're fine with disobeying what Isaiah Chance wants because this is your best friend, right?
Yeah, and at the time I sent that, I was at home in my bed. I was not with Isaiah.
But all of these messages are still saved and on your iPhone, right?
I mean, I guess so.
They were, not you guessed. They're on your iPhone, right?
They're in my iCloud.
Yes. And so your iCloud backs up your iPhone, ma'am. Isn't that true?
I'm not sure how that works, but I think so.
Okay. You don't recognize these messages? Something that you typed and you received on your little pink iPhone?
I believe so.
Okay. And your phone is also password protected, right?
Yes.
Because certainly when Isaiah Chance is using your phone that night on June 23rd of 2024, at some point when you're walking in that parking lot, your phone locks up, right?
Yes.
And you have to enter in your password.
Yes.
And so that's what happens with an iPhone. After your iPhone is not being activated over a lengthy period of time, a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, it does what?
It locks.
And so what do you have to do every time that happens?
Unlock it.
And obviously Isaiah Chance didn't know your password because you're standing there right next to him, and what does he have to do?
He asked for the password that first time, but he's looking at me.
And I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 34. You know who this is, right? Charles Jones.
Yes.
You have known who he was since 2021 when you were at Rains High School, right?
I knew of him, yes.
You were well aware of him, right? This is something that you discussed a lot with your friend Jewel Jordan.
I only discussed him maybe 2 times.
At the time when you were doing that, did you date somebody by the nickname K Shorty?
We weren't dating.
You didn't date him either, right?
No.
You weren't upset talking about Jewel Jordan and Julio Foolio, Charles Jones recruiting all these young men that were getting shot up in this gang war?
I wouldn't say upset. I was just gossiping.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But this is State 75C13. This is a photograph with you and K Shorty.
Yes, that's Therese.
Okay. And do you see what he's doing there?
Yeah.
He's throwing up like 12?
I don't know what the sign means. I
I have
mean,
no idea what that means. But you're posting this on TikTok, right? You love TikTok. You've talked about,
Yeah.
right? You posted on TikTok. You're both posing together.
yes, ma'am.
And despite the fact that you intimately know a lot of people who are associated with these gangs, you have no idea what it means when he's throwing up that sign.
No, I don't.
No idea whatsoever.
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled, go ahead.
You followed Charles Jones on Instagram, isn't that correct?
Maybe back then.
Did you ever unfollow him?
Probably.
You were still following him when this crime occurred, right, on Instagram?
I don't remember following him.
You don't remember? You never looked and you never saw any of these advertisements that Julio Foolio was going to be in Tampa on June 22nd?
No, I never seen those.
You did not like Julio Foolio back in 2021. Isn't that true, ma'am?
I mean, I wouldn't say a personal issue. When you say like him, didn't like him.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 75C2, conversation that you had with Jewel Jordan. So I want you to read what you texted to her back on January 19th of 2021.
I said, but if you think about it, everybody dissing everybody. People from out east diss they side, so of course they're gonna say something, but it don't even be popular like that. What? Like that for real? Fulio be the one talking shit. Then all his little niggas come, then other extra people.
Okay. So you are talking about out east, correct? That is a territory of 1,200.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're talking about how the people in 1200 dish they side, correct? And then you're also talking about Papa, that's little Papa, right?
Yes.
And who's little Papa?
He's a rapper.
And you know that he also has a gang affiliation, is that correct?
I mean, he doesn't claim it, so I don't know.
You know your boyfriend, Isaiah Chance, is in a gang, isn't that true?
I don't know that.
That's something you've told your best friend since you were little, Jewel Jordan, that you knew that he was in a gang and that he was in it.
I never told her that.
You never
I said
said
I've
that?
heard allegations of it, but when I asked him, he denies it, so of course I took his word.
In this particular conversation, you then say, again, talking about Foolio, let's go down here. I want you to tell the jury what then you texted in response to Jewel Jordan saying that they keep killing each other. And we're talking about the gang war in Jacksonville, right? 1200 against 6 Block. ATK against 6 Block, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's see, what did you text her?
I said right, so it's gonna go on.
And I'm sorry, Miss Andrews, if you don't mind, you speak very quickly, so if you could just speak slowly, because I'm seated next to you and I'm having trouble hearing you. So
Okay.
thank you very much.
I said right, so it's gonna go on, and they keep saying let leak rest, but I'm sure the other side be feeling like that, so it's gonna keep repeating, and yeah, they know what come with it, so charge it to the game, go retaliate or something. They sitting up there rapping, but that's y'all homeboy. Just do what y'all have to do. They don't be in Jacksonville, so I doubt they care about anybody here or the upcoming rappers.
So Leaky is another person that has died in this gang war, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're well aware of that, correct?
Yes, ma'am. He went to middle school with me.
So you have somebody who went to middle school that died in this gang war, and you had somebody who went to Rains High School that died in this gang war, is that correct?
Yeah, I heard of it, but I'm not friends with him.
Well, you say you're not friends with Spaz, right? Joe Rod Adams, correct?
Yeah, I'm not friends with him.
But he wasn't the only one that got shot in that Rains High School shooting, was he?
I mean, I think so.
Will also got shot in that high school shooting. Will Go Crazy, the person who you communicate with on your phone, right? You know who Will is.
I wouldn't say like that. He texts me and he tries to talk to me like I'm cute. People are going to start talking to me like that.
He's who Jewel Jordan was talking about when she said that you two had a friend that was injured at the shooting at Rains High School, correct?
Yeah, when she says friend, she means associate.
So I didn't ask you that, but what her wording up there was friends, right?
Yes.
And he got shot in the arm. His name is Will Royal. He went to high school with you at Rains High School, right?
I believe so.
You believe so or you know so?
I don't remember his last name being Royal, so that's why I said I believe so.
Okay, let's not call him Will Royal. Let's call him Will, who got shot in the left arm the same day that Spaz, Joe Rod Adams, got killed at Rains High School when you were attending there.
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes, Will.
So what are you texting your friend Jewel Jordan on 1/21 of 2021?
You want me to read it?
Yes, ma'am.
I said it was deleted by the time I got up, but Julio had said it'd be everybody. Julio had said it, but everybody kind of knew that. It was just once that time he got shot, and I forgot the boy that died with him at the Rains game, but the boy Robert ain't even do that, even though he on the 6th side. It was Bibby, and Will knew that, but Bibby died like 3 weeks later, so that was crazy.
Okay. And so who we're talking about right now, that you claim not to know his last name, is the very person you are texting Jewel Jordan about, right? Will.
Yes, ma'am.
So you knew him well enough to be texting to your friend, Jewel Jordan, after the high school shooting at Rains, correct?
Yes, he was known.
And the other person that you are mentioning in the same sentence is Robert. You're referring to Robert Howard, the person who actually went to prison for manslaughter for that shooting, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're also mentioning Bibby, is that correct?
Yes.
Bibby is a nickname. It is a gang nickname, isn't it, Miss Andrews?
I didn't know his real name. I'm just referring to him as Baby.
Okay. Because Bibby is the way that the people who you hang out with refer to him, right?
No, the people on the internet refer to him as Baby.
That's right. And that's how they know him, by his
Yes.
gang name.
I mean, I wouldn't know if it's his gang name.
Do you think Bibby is his legal name?
I don't know him personally to know. So
And then Jill Jordan responds, OMG, LMFA, what does that mean?
laughing my fucking ass off.
Everybody kind of knew. They all had comments to calling. You guys are also watching what is going on social media between these warring rival gangs, aren't you?
Yeah, that day we're actually referring to a post, so we're reading the comments, but instead of putting it in the comments, we're texting it to each other.
Now I want you to read to the jury what you texted your friend Jewel Jordan on January 21st of 2021.
I said, girl, I don't like Foolio, laugh my fucking ass off, ugly ass bitch. He need to die. And that was Will friend, fuck the cold shit. Then I said, bitch, he shot me and my friend died. Yeah, I'm pointing out who did it.
And so you...
Let me stop it right here. What's wrong with this text communication that she's reading? Right? Obviously, it's criminating, right? Not necessarily criminating, but evidence of I guess something that you can connectable is relevant, right? The girl, I don't like Foolio, laughing my ass off, ugly ass bitch. He need to die. What's wrong with this text right here? Do anybody know what's wrong with this text communication that the prosecutor is going down the line to show the jury that Alicia Andrews text to Joe Blow? Anybody have any idea what's wrong with this? You know what? I'm gonna make it closer, a little bit more obvious. As I get closer and closer and closer. Anybody recognize what's wrong with this? Closer and closer. Anybody recognize what's wrong with this? Anybody recognize what's wrong with this? Anybody recognize what's wrong? Can anybody in the chat tell me what's wrong with this text communication? And why did I highlight this specific region? Say it's toxic is a pseudo contract. It doesn't sound violent at the end. She has a point. Emojis? You think emojis is wrong with it? Nah. Right here. The crime happened July of 2024. This happened 3 years before that. 3.5 years to be exact before that. So you mean to tell me, because the rationale, at least a logical person would say, so you're essentially saying that she had these ideas, they created the plan 4 years ago? Of all the kind of facts and of all the kind of proofs that you could have put out, to tie that is some animus for this particular guy, you find something that was 4 years in the past, like as if none of us common folk would sit there and watch somebody on TV, and because they did something to another character on TV, we said, man, I hate that motherfucker. Right? Like none of us could watch a movie and be like, yo, son, I swear, if I had an opportunity, I will kill that nigga. I remember it was a movie called Low Down Dirty Shame with Keaton Ivy Waynes and Jada Pinkett. This is before Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett. And in that movie, it was a scene where Keaton Ivy Waynes and Jada Pinkett, whatever their names were sitting outside dining on one of those outside diner tables. You know, COVID, it was big. Like back in the days, it wasn't, everything was inside. But COVID, you was able to eat outside because of the connection. So while they were out there dining, or maybe they was walking, so maybe I got that particular fact mixed up. But either way, not too far from them was a crowd that was gathering. And in that crowd, in the middle of it, was a guy, a figure who happened to be an actor in a sitcom, a soap opera that the character that Jada Pinkett was playing watched. So in a mix of Jada Pinkett, the character, remember this is a movie, the character in a mix of Jada Pinkett, the character, talking to Keenen Ivory Wayans, the character, Jada Pinkett, the character sees the fucking actor of the sitcom that the character watched and said, oh snap, such and such, and she runs over there in the middle of the crowd. You know, Jada Pinkett is a little lady. I think she's like 5'1", 5'2". So she snakes her way, she slithers through the crowd and gets right in front of the character. Now remember, this isn't Jada Pinkett. This is the character that she's playing. The character that she's playing recognizes an actor for a sitcom that the character watches. She goes up to him and say, Chad, I think that was the guy's name. Chad, the character, not the fucking person, the character. Chad. The dude looked down at her and she said, oh man, she showed all of this joy. And when the dude started to, I guess, smile, she drew back and punched him in the face, so much so that he like toppled over and fell out. The character, this wasn't real. Keenen Ivory Wayans, the character runs up on her, picks her little ass up and scoots at her and they run off. While he's dragging her away essentially or carrying her away, I fucking hate you. You did this to such and such. In the sitcom, that scene was a scene that I think everybody could relate to because we all look at movies and have some sort of emotional connection to a character for whatever reason, whether it's a trauma bond, whether it's a projection, whatever the circumstance may be. Maybe you can identify with that person. You know, that's why when we see movies, we cry, right? We get sad, we get excited, right? When Rocky came out, motherfuckers was fighting. When the movie Colors, the gangs, the Bloods and Crips, that movie came out, dudes had a shootout in a fucking movie theater just from scenes. We all do this. So you mean to tell me that the prosecutor is trying to encapsulate a murder plot through an extension from some text communication that this girl had when she was 16 or 17. Remember, she's 21 when this incident occurred. In 2024, she was 21. This happened 3.5 years ago. So she had to have been like 17 at this time. 17. And the fucking prosecutor is like, oh, so you wanted him to die? Really? Again, remember, the purpose of me showing this is I'm trying to figure out where did they go wrong? When I listened to Scott Herman, the head prosecutor, the person that's a certified death sentence prosecutor, gave the opening statement. He had a really profound, impactful statement. He said, we're going to prove this, we have that, we're going to show this. She lied to the prosecutor, to the cops during interrogation. We have this evidence. She left the fucking phone at the scene. We got all of this stuff. Rest assured, we're going to prove her guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And now here you have this fucking lady, this other prosecutor, bringing up stuff when the accused was 17. Anyway, maybe, I don't know, maybe, you know, maybe I'm just looking at things wrong, but let's get back to it.
Don't like Julio Foolio. That's fair to say back in 2021, you didn't like him.
Yeah, that was my opinion when I was 17 years old.
And your exact words were, he need to die, correct?
Yeah, but I didn't mean it literally. I'm 17 just gossiping.
Okay.
Right.
But you really are talking.
This is a girl doing this. This isn't like a gangbanger. Even if she was gangbanging, it's still everything comes off differently when a young girl doing it. A literal girl, not a fucking young lady, not a young adult, not a middle-aged woman, but a 17-year-old girl talking to another girl about some infamous rapper doing this thing, getting caught up. No different than how we would gossip about Jay-Z and his drug dealing era, or DMX, you know, having fist fights and all this other stuff that we gossip about, at least when we were younger. Anyway,
about your friend Will, and you're saying, fuck that code shit, if he shot me and my friend died, you're referring to Will and his friend Spaz that died.
Yeah, I was saying he knew probably who killed his friend. He should have spoke up. I'm saying if it's my friend, I'm going to tell who did it.
So you were upset that 6 Block, and you believe 6 Block and Julio Foolio's group were responsible for your friend getting shot, correct?
I mean, that was what was on the internet, and I wasn't upset. I mean, I'm just gossiping. I really don't care, honestly.
And then you emphasized it, right?
No, she emphasized
She
it.
emphasized it. Then I want you to go down here and say what you said, 1/22 of 2021.
I said, bitch, hold on, because I think Julio talking about Therese and his friends left my ass up. I do not like him.
Okay. And tell us again who Therese is.
Therese is the person I'm in a picture with.
And then what did you say?
I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together. I was reading the comments.
And then what did you say here?
No, that's her talking.
Oh, I'm
At the
sorry.
top.
What did Jewel Jordan say in response?
She said, that is Julio, though. He recruit a bunch of dumbass niggas who willing to die.
And then what was your response to that?
I said, right, and he started to realize. But first time I saw him, that shit clicked on. When Julio called we all in the garage, he talking about, nigga always want me to ride with him when he down here, so I could be the one that died, not him. I ain't nobody guard. I said, bitch, I was dying.
And what do you mean when you texted that?
I was in the garage with Therese one day, like just chilling, and one of his, I think that was his cousin or somebody older, and he gets a call from Julio, and he, I think, asked him to ride somewhere, and he tells the friend, like, after the phone hangs, he said, I'm not riding nowhere with him. I'm not finna die. And I just sent it to my friend. I'm like, well, I'm over here laughing about it.
And you said Isaiah Chance, you did not know he was in a gang. Is that correct?
I mean, I heard people say it, but when I asked him, he says he's not. My codependents were trying to have me jumped, so I just do what I have to do.
You were also safely in jail. Isn't that true, ma'am?
I wouldn't say safely. You can get in a fight at any time.
Okay. There are all kinds of deputies. Is that correct?
Yes, all of them don't do their job also. So.
And we're not talking about your safety from other people. We're specifically talking about your safety from Isaiah Chance, someone you claim to be so afraid of that you will go along and do anything for him, right?
I wouldn't do anything for him, but
You wouldn't go along with a murder plot for him?
no, he never told me anything about a murder plot.
And you wouldn't try to...
Let me stop it right there. So the burden of proof for crimes are beyond a reasonable doubt. Preponderance of evidence is a negligence. So this is the incorrect burden of proof, Kareem. But I do understand what you're saying. There is no such thing as enough evidence. That is a fact, right? I've been in trials where it's like, what the fuck? Like, how you even get arrested? The motherfucker get found guilty. And conversely, it's like you looking at them like, yeah, well, I guess I see you in 50 years, and they win. So when it comes to putting on a case, it's never really enough. Like, you're at the very last. I'm talking about the very last moment before it's time to make an open statement or to put on a case, when you're trying to get evidence or gather evidence or even gather stuff to rebut or suppress whatever the opposing party is doing. So there is never, you're absolutely right with that. But the burden of proof is always reasonable doubt. Preponderance of evidence is a more likely than not standard. It's a 51% standard, which is a bit different. I just wanted to be clear because I understand you guys are going back and forth in the chat, so long as we be consistent with the actual information.
Call him multiple times incorrectly from the jail, right?
What do you mean incorrectly?
You're not allowed to phone another inmate, can you?
I don't call him like that, so what do you mean?
You're right, you don't call him like that. You have to break policy of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office and do some kind of three-way call involving Isaiah Chance's mother. Isn't that true?
Yeah, we do that.
You do it all the time, right?
Yes, when he asks for me, I do it.
As for you, you have to initiate your own phone call. He can't call you in the jail either, can he?
I said when he asks for me, I do it. If he tells me to call, I'm going to call.
It's not just that he answers for you. You can't call him directly. Isn't that true, ma'am?
No, I can't.
You have to coordinate and you have to make arrangements with some third party who is not in jail so that you can talk to him. Isn't that true?
Yes, and like I said, it goes back to me keeping him happy. I don't want to cause any issues while I'm sitting here. If he gets mad, if I don't call him, it's no telling what he's going to say. They can all, I'm the odd one out of this. They can all turn around and say, oh, it was Alicia, and I'm not getting in the middle of that. So I keep him happy while I'm here. He wants me to call, he wants to talk to me, let him know about the baby. He lets me know, I let him know I'm okay. That's what I do.
You call him
You know what? That
5
is
to
a
10
not for nothing. That is a hell of a fucking response because I think a rational person would believe that. I think a rational person would think, yo, listen, I'm actually on trial. These jokers ain't go to trial yet. So it's nothing stopping them from saying, yo, look, prosecutor, I got some info. Prosecutor, I got some info. It's not stopping them. At least now it is. It's over. But prior to this, it's nothing stopping any one of those guys from cooperating and giving intimate, detailed knowledge of who did what. Right? Listen, while her life is jacked up now, it's different when you're facing natural life without the possibility of parole. She still have life. She has a lot of life. I mean, she's only 22 now. So let's just say if they smokables, they give her 15 max, right? 15 years, she's coming out at 37. She has a lot. Look, think about everybody that's beyond 40, how young 37 looks, right? Everybody that's over 40 right now, which I was doing at 37, or what you could, or which you should have done when you was 37. When you're 22, 37 is forever. But just think about that. She still have a lot of life left at 37. A lot of life left. She could start a whole life. Now, you know, she lost a lot. Where I see people in the chat saying that she lost the baby, she got pregnant, blah, 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 blah. So she lost that. But then she got COs in there. Remember, she is light-skinned, and you know how fellas love them light-skinned ladies. She COs in there that to do some things. But anyway, notwithstanding that fact, she still has a lot of life left. Who's to say she's not lying here? I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to shut these mother effers up because I don't want them to say I did any goddamn thing. Just stay tough, right? No ratting. Stay tough, black man. Let me go through this trial and say, listen, I had nothing to do. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I really don't know these dudes. I think what Shorty said. You was like, you said something out that I kind of agree with. No, not that one. You said something else. I think it was this. Where's this shit at? Oh, here we go. This right here. You said, I don't think she had a clue. Who's asking all them questions just because your boyfriend looking for his friends that y'all out of town with? This is normal behavior for anybody if y'all split up. See, this is, I can't understand that, right? But I can understand that it's not like I'm saying this is wrong. This is what women would go through. I can imagine a woman like, man, I don't give a fuck about your friends. I don't even like you. I'm here because you say you want to make it work. I get that. And this is what this statement that Good Girl, I don't know. Listen, man, you got to get there with me. I'm a little old. You guys have these names. That, you know, Miss Lightskin. And this what Shorty is saying in the comments. This is kind of in the same vein as what Alicia is saying. Listen, I'm just trying to play safe. So if I got to break a little bit of rules to pacify this fucking maniac or to patronize this maniac or do whatever I need to do to keep this guy or those men to shut up, I'm going to do that. So if they want me to call them to ask, hey, how the trial going? Yeah, the trial, nothing, boring. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do what I need to do to survive this thing in my life because you're talking about natural life, right? Natural life. I know a lot of people can't fathom what that really the impact that is because most people haven't went through what she's going through. But I would rather what she's going through now as opposed to what she was going through. So if she has to pacify these guys by, making a phone call, doing a three-way, even though the policies of the county jail says not to. Man, fuck all that. I'm trying to save my life. Right. So that I can understand where she's coming from, especially with knowledge, with a rationale that good girl being bad. Being bad. There we go. I went to public school. You got to bear with me, baby. I went to public school. But I get it. Let's get to
it. Times a day in there.
Yes, when he says call back, I call back.
And you also do messages. There's a kiosk system where you can kiosk with him. Isn't that correct?
Yes, he texts me and I text him.
And you have intimate conversations about your case, don't you?
Yes, when he asks, I let him know.
And he sends you messages which could be called sexting, right?
Yeah, he do. I keep him happy, like I said.
And you're no longer in a relationship with him, correct?
No, he thinks that.
And you call him multiple times a day, every day, for several months. Isn't that true?
Yes, like I said, I'm doing what I have to do. I'm not going to let him know. I'm not going to get on the phone and act like it's a change. I'm acting the same. I'm doing what I have to do.
Ma'am, you understand you're on trial for first-degree murder, right?
Yes, I do.
And it's for hanging out with him.
I do.
And you are still protecting him, right? To this day, you're protecting him.
I'm not protecting him.
You are still calling him and communicating with him, aren't you?
Yes, it's not protecting him, though.
So much so that you call his mother, right?
I do.
And you have been advised, and you report to his mother that you don't care that your attorneys tell you not to talk to him. You're going to do it anyway, right?
Yes, because I feel like that's the best way to do it.
Okay. So you are so desperate to talk to him and have communication with him, you don't even care if it may be hurtful to your case.
I wouldn't say desperate, because when I did disappear and listened, he texted me from another person and said, why are you not listening to me? Why are you not responding? When are you going to get into your big red forehead? And all these other things. So I started back talking to him.
Red forehead. It's so crazy. That shit sound like something that somebody would say, like your big red forehead. Because I always say, like, if you knew me personally, and I'm talking to I'm never gonna say the light-skinned one. I'm never gonna say I would say like that. But I would like, yeah, that yellow girl. Like I would say, yo, what's up with the yellow girl? I would refer to a light skin. Listen, what you want me to do, man? I'm showing you me. I'm showing you me. I would say, yeah, the yellow girl. So the fact that old boy called her a fucking red forehead, that shit sounds so consistent. But first off, let me drop this down. I want to give a special shout out to somebody that blessed a brother, that blessed the channel. Shout out to Kareem Harper. Much appreciated. I don't have all the bells or whistles or whatever, but the fact that you set a brother out with $5, I most certainly appreciate it. Like I say all the time, whether you know or owe, whenever there's $1, $2, $3, whatever it is, whenever you guys set me out, it lets me know you see value in what I'm saying. Maybe you, not you, but maybe the ladies like what they see it, or like to hear. Either way, I most certainly appreciate it, because I only ask for a few things. Like, subscribe, put your notifications on, and be active in the chat what you guys are doing. So when you throw a couple more dollars on it, it's a cherry on top. And I most certainly appreciate that. It's a kind gesture, and I can't put it any other way. All right, let's get back to it. But to her point, that is very consistent with respect to the idea of what a young kid with your big red hair, that's so like legit to me. Yeah, it did it so crazy. It's like she's answering these questions without hesitation. There is no there is no back and forth. Like a lot of times juries that I know after when the judge would say, well, if you want to answer a question that the defense attorneys want to ask, you answer, and we would question the jury. A lot of times the jury is like, well, I noticed that when you guys were asking questions, they had all of this like, warm, welcoming kind of attitudes. But when a prosecutor, it was all this sass, it was all this anger. This girl is very consistent. The very same way that she's responded to the state is the very same way that she responded to her defense attorneys. Now in my opinion, I don't think you can really train that. I think that's a personality that she may have. And I think somebody in the chat earlier said nonchalant. Perhaps she's seeing a lot. while she was in the streets where not too much impressed her, right? But the fact that she has this matter of fact kind of perspective and personality, it creates the idea that she's being authentic. It doesn't mean she's not telling the truth or lying, but that was a double negative. It doesn't mean that she's telling the truth or lying. It's just consistent. And I would rather a person that's consistent and they're liars or truth tellers as opposed to somebody that's inconsistent that I can't really tap whether or not they're lying and telling the truth. Anyway, let's get back to it.
So now again, you're talking to him because you're still afraid of him, right? Even though he is locked up for first-degree murder charges and cannot go near you.
I didn't say physically come to me. I'm talking about other people.
You take advice from him, don't you?
I listen to it.
He discusses the case with you many, many times. Isn't that true?
Yes, because he knows I don't know, so he tries to make sure I know everything.
In fact, he tells you to kind of stay strong because the state thinks you're the weaker link. Has he told you that before?
Yes, he told me that.
Have you responded to him on, let's see. What's the date?
Look at this shit. Look, fucking prosecutor. Where the hell is Scott at? I wanted to see Herman in fucking work, not this lady.
Recently is June 27th of 2025. Did you tell them half the witnesses are dead, you're listening to Jacksonville, and they don't solve shit? I'm just lost because this is all pointless.
Said what?
Did you say to him, half of their witnesses are dead, you're listening to Jacksonville, and they don't solve shit? I'm just lost because this is all pointless.
Yes, I told him, and that's my opinion. I don't understand why I'm here. It's really about them.
So you're still talking about what you're charged with him.
Yeah, he's aware, so I can say that.
And he tries to tell you what you should do in your case, right? And he tries to tell you what is the plan about the Airbnb. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Yeah, and I don't control him, so he talks about what he wants to talk about.
Don't you say in response to him telling you all that, you don't got to say all that. Don't walk me through those stops. You said that, right?
Yeah, I stop him when he talks about the case because I already kind of know that. So he tries to let me know, and I already know.
It's not because you've already discussed what you two are going to say that you're on some kind of vacation to Tampa.
No, we haven't.
That's not what you're referring
talked
to?
about that. No. He's talking about the girl in the Airbnb.
On July 5th, 2025, you didn't tell his mother that you made the defense attorney's investigator so mad because you told him you're not going to leave until you want to and that they can't tell you who you can talk to, we're specifically referring to him. Isn't that true?
I was referring to other people too, but him too.
Because you are not going to give him up. Isn't that true?
Like I said, I'm doing what I think I should do to keep him happy.
And that is calling him hundreds of times, multiple times a day.
Yes, you don't see the other messages when he asks us. He says, can you call? I need you to call. Are you okay? How are you? How's the baby?
Yo, let me ask you a question. Is somebody in the chat, if you know, what the fuck actually happens to the kid? Like, I think somebody in the chat said she had the kid. Somebody else in the chat said she lost the kid. Somebody else in the chat said that she lost the kid and then got pregnant by another guy. At least that's what I believe was said. What actually happens to the kid? Like, you know, could you guys? I never had a circumstance or a client that gave birth while undergoing a circumstance. Like, I'm sure it happens. I just never experienced it. Like, does it automatically go to the parent, to the someone else, like the defendant's mother, brother, whomever? Like, what happens? Don't they get a certain opportunity to be with the kid, like maybe a month or two, like that bonding connection, or is this yank the kid away, get the fuck out of here, and they kick you out like, what happens? Like, get the fuck out this goddamn room. Like, what happens? Like, if somebody can help me with that, I'm really, really, really interested in that. Not interested. Like, I'm just curious. Let me not say interest, but I'm curious.
So at some point, when I say you guys are off and on, there are times where he doesn't want to talk to you. Isn't that true, ma'am?
At times,
And there are times that he blocks you, right?
yes.
And right before, let's talk about June 17th of 2024, right? This is
Yes.
within a couple of weeks of this happening, right?
I think a couple of days. Yeah.
June 17th, 2024, he blocked you. So you got to resort to a text now chat, right? That's not a normal means of texting on an iPhone, right? This is a special app.
Yeah, that's the app, but pertaining to him, I always text on text now when he blocks me.
So he's blocked you before, right?
Yes, whenever he's mad, he blocks me.
So sometimes he's ended communication and broken up with you, right?
Not broken up, he just goes off for a day or two.
And so can you read to the jury what it is you texted this
Yeah, I see
person
that.
that you're afraid of?
My eyes are jacked up.
Oh, I said, bitch, you a sicko. While you blocking me over a call, I didn't even initiate. Trying to act like you mad, and I make people comfortable.
You need to speak, I'm sorry, Miss Andrews, the court reporter's got to take down what you're
My
saying,
bad.
so you got to speak real slow, okay?
I said, bitch, you a sicko. While you blocking me over a call, I didn't even initiate. Trying to act like you mad, and I make people comfortable. I didn't do shit to make nobody feel comfortable. It was out the fucking blue. Why the fuck are you acting like it's my problem? You just wanted to have a reason to talk. I messed up when I was typing. To talk to ugly bitches you talk to. Everybody you come across and you touch, you fuck them up. You're not even mentally there and stable in the head for no relationship, even when I didn't do shit to your ass or start a conversation. You still fucking mad, the fuck. And then I said,
Let me stop it right here. What is it about this idea of referring to a man as bitch? Like, y'all noticed that? Like, a few of her texts, it's like it starts off as bitch. Maybe I'm just old school. Said I don't want to fight. Not to say I'm gonna beat up on my lady, because I don't, but I don't get that. Mother bitch. Bitch, you mad? Like, what the fuck? What is that about? Maybe this is a young thing. I've seen people in the chat saying, well, this is younger. That's how they are. This is crazy. You start off the comment. That would be the last time I speak with you. That would be the last time. Like, that would be the end of any communication. Outside of you getting served with papers and perhaps with, I'm speaking to a deposition, right? I don't get that. Bitch, that's how you start the conversation?
and you acting like I'm not pregnant. You gonna talk to me one day, so I don't give a fuck about your attitude. And I said, bye, bitch.
So this reconciliation that you're talking about, this is what he is trying to stop communication with you, right?
This is one of the things he do. So when you say stop communication, he just disappears for a day. He doesn't even really mean it. He's gonna pop up the next day and be like, what you doing?
So you weren't trying to make this jury think when you first testified that there was domestic violence in your relationship, and this reconciliation was you trying to get back with him and him trying to reconcile with you because of something he did, right?
Wait, can you repeat it?
Yes, I can. You're not trying to make this jury believe that he was the one trying to reconcile with you after he hit you or something, are you?
I don't know what you mean by that pertaining to the message. I'm just cursing him out.
No, I said when you guys get back together, I thought you told the defense attorney on your direct that this was some kind of reconciliation trip. You guys
was.
were trying to get back together, right?
It was. After I sent that, he did eventually end up texting me, not on there, but he texted my phone and we're back cool. We always do that.
And why is his little brother coming on this reconciliation trip with you?
I mean, I don't know that. That's something you have to ask him. I didn't know he was even going.
But you know why you were going, right?
Yes, he invited me and I thought it was going to be us two.
And it wasn't, right?
Yeah.
and you get to an Airbnb and you're only there for a day,
Yes.
and you go nowhere
I get
except
like
for
20
3
lights.
clubs. Is that correct?
About 100 people in.
Yeah,
Like 20
McDonald's.
more lights.
And
Gotta even-
again, not with him and Damian Murphy, right?
Yes.
So what exactly was planned for this trip where you two were going to get back together after fighting?
It wasn't necessarily get back together. It was just to spend time. I didn't have a plan. Oh, we get down here, go here, go here. If we go out, we go out. If we don't, I would be fine with that too.
So now it's not a reconciliation trip.
No, we are getting back cool, but I'm saying it wasn't a big deal to go out nowhere. That was his decision.
You kind of just testified that he didn't spend any alone time with you that entire night, right?
He was up there, but eventually he would go his own way.
Okay. You said that he didn't go with you anywhere, and you did not go with him to when they first checked out teasers around 10. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was still in the bed at that time.
And you lied to law enforcement in that interview when you said it was just the two of you, right?
The two of us went because I mentioned Sean too.
You did, but that wasn't until later on in the conversation. When they first asked you about the Airbnb and the door, you specifically said, it's just me and him. Do you remember hearing that?
Yes, I did say that because I meant like when we first came in, it was just me and him.
So again, there was no planned story that if the two of you got caught, that it was just going to be you and him on a romantic getaway.
We never talked about caught. There's nothing to get caught about because I didn't do anything.
So again, no conversation ahead of time if you were to get caught about what your story would be.
He never told me nothing about getting caught. When he got interrogated, he came back and told me that's what happened. And then he said, you don't have to worry about that because we didn't do anything.
When did you have the conversation with him about his interrogation?
When it was the first time they searched his house.
Before you were interrogated by law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am.
So there was some discussion about what it is that law enforcement was going to be questioning you about in that interview, right?
He didn't mention the guy. He just said our trip out of town.
Okay. Such a coincidence, right? He mentions the trip out of town. You still aren't suspicious. You have still no idea a murder happened. But after he's arrested for not a homicide, just for what?
It
A
was
resist?
resisting arrest.
You guys are talking about the trip to Tampa.
I mean, not in detail. He just said the trip.
But he wasn't arrested in Tampa, was he? He was arrested in Jacksonville by Duval County Sheriff's officers. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Yes, but I'm saying
For-
after they arrested him, he
for
let me know
leaving?
what it was for.
For leaving the scene, right?
No.
So what? Oh, for resisting arrest. Nothing that had to do in the charges of Tampa, right?
No, they left a search warrant and it said the conspiracy thing on there and something else.
Jacksonville, Duval County left the conspiracy and murder charge up there with
I don't
him?
know if it was Jacksonville, but it was on one of the papers.
And so that's what led to a conversation of you all being down in Tampa. Is that correct?
Yeah, he just said it was about the trip to Tampa.
So when you testified to this jury that you had no idea why Tampa officers were pulling you in for that interview, you were lying up there on the stand?
It's not what I said. I mean, he didn't go in full detail about what they were coming to about Tampa. He just said the trip in Tampa.
You said you had no idea why these officers were pulling you into that interview room. Isn't that
And I
what you just
meant,
testified
because when
to?
they came to my house, they were coming for resisting arrest, so I didn't know why Tampa was coming to talk to me.
But that's not what you just said, because you said after the resist charge, before your interview, you and your boyfriend, Isaiah Chance, were talking about what happened in Tampa.
That was way before, I mean, like when he got arrested.
So let's talk about some more lies that you told law enforcement. You said that you could not remember how it...
Not for nothing. That, you know, it's so many crazy nuances that people may not really recognize, but it happens when you try in a case. This comment right here, always and forever, my always and forever, She said this lady's sing-songy voice is so irritating. That is such a truth. Now, it may not be irritating to me, but if you found it irritating, what do you think the jury finds it as? Now, I don't know the dynamics of the jury. I didn't even do any research to know whether or not it was a predominantly white, predominantly black, predominantly Hispanic. You know, it is Florida, so it is a mixed culture down there. But nevertheless, I could imagine the over pronunciation, the singy kind of thing that this lady has can be a bit annoying, especially when she's enunciating like she kind of sings it out. And I can imagine, and that irritation, that like constant, may not be something noticeable when you first hear it, but it can kind of linger. And it's like, Mom, shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? And it can get annoying. And so much so that you can now start to kind of be against the prosecutor as opposed to hearing what the witness is saying, because it has nothing to do with the prosecutor. Listen, I remember having a case. I was at a trial. It wasn't mine or anything like that. I was just there. And I remember when I was listening to the jurors explain why they ruled in the way they ruled. And they said because the defense attorney didn't have a wedding band on. That's why one of the jurors ruled the way they ruled. And it was like, well, they couldn't trust her. Like, she's not married. I can't trust her. That was the rationale. So it'd be so many little things. I just said I'd say it's always so many little things that a juror would just hold against you secretly. And you have no idea. Anyway, let's continue. Oh, can I get my likes up, by the way? It's 100+ people in here. Last time I checked was like 30 likes. Let me get 40 likes. I know that's aggressive, but can I get my algorithm out? Can we grow a little bit? I'm just saying, can we grow a little bit? Let's go.
Was you got through the back door of the Airbnb, right? You have any memory issues?
No, I'm not slow.
Overruled. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What was the answer?
Any
I said
memory
no.
issues?
I mean, I'm not slow. What do you mean memory issues?
Well, they're talking to you within a couple of months of you coming to Tampa, right?
Yes.
You don't come to Tampa every day, right?
No.
And you were with your boyfriend at this Airbnb, correct?
He was charged.
Yes.
And you saw those videos of you at this front door. Can you take a look at the photo behind you?
And for
Yes.
the record, what are you showing her?
I'm showing her State's Exhibit 60. You recognize this Airbnb?
Yes.
And you saw the other video, State 61, where you are on the Ring camera, right?
Yes.
You're only on that Ring camera entering this front door 2 times, right?
Yeah, I think it was 2 times.
Facts.
On June 22nd of 2023.
Yes.
And then you are not on that front door Ring camera at all, correct?
No.
And they don't just ask you about the front door.
100%.
They ask you, you leave 2 times and come back, right?
Yes, I did.
You left and you went to the McDonald's with Davian Murphy and your boyfriend Isaiah Chance, right?
Yes.
And you didn't go out this front door and you didn't come back this front door, right?
Right.
Can you take a look at the video, ma'am? We're going to show you how it is you get to the back door of this Airbnb. This is the back door, right? This is how you would have to get in when you're going to the back door, right? You got to walk through this grass pathway. And then open this door, this gate, right? And then it takes you to the sliding glass doors, right?
Yes, ma'am.
They didn't just ask you about the front door. They asked you what door you got in when you came back from the McDonald's, right?
Yes, they did.
And you didn't tell them, if you have nothing to hide, and we're just talking about an Airbnb, you didn't just say, I went through the back door, right?
Yeah, I didn't say that.
You lied, right?
I don't think I answered it.
You said, I don't remember.
Yeah, and I probably was aggravated at the time, so.
But it's a lie nonetheless, right?
22.
Yeah.
Because certainly you're not going to make the jury believe that you going through some dark pathway in the middle of the night to leave and then get back is something that you're not going to remember, right?
I mean, not necessarily. It wasn't a big thing to remember that day.
Even though you're being questioned on a first-degree murder charge, you can't even tell them that you just left the back door to go to McDonald's?
Yeah, but I'm saying I didn't
Appreciate
really
you.
remember that, so, and I was aggravated, so.
It's a lie. You lied to law enforcement knowing they're investigating a first-degree homicide.
Yeah, but he was just asking me about a back door, so I didn't see any relevance.
So it's okay to lie to law enforcement if you don't think it's relevant, right?
No.
See, this is where she kind of should have started at, because I didn't cover the interrogation, right? I briefly looked at the interrogation. In the interrogation, in addition to showing all the scoffing, and I think that's what should be illuminated, the fact that she's kind of taking this shit lightly, especially once the detective said, oh, this is for a homicide. We had talking to you about the murder of Julio Foolio. And she continued to scoff and scoff, to showing this disconnection, this detachment, this indifference to the loss of a human life, and then culminated with all the lies to the fact where she said, because this is all the stuff that Scott Herman, the first prosecutor, talked about during his opening statement, how she lied to the detectives, how they asked her at the very beginning of it, yeah, we talk to your man Isaiah Chains, gutter. And she says, well, why did you refer to him as gutter? Despite the fact that she got the shit tattered all over her goddamn body. Like, all of those little inconsistencies is where this state prosecutor should have kind of started, as opposed to some text communication that happened 3-4 years ago prior to this incident. While that's relevant, that could have possibly been a cherry on top, right? Like, when you wrap it up and you start to pepper them with questions and pepper them with scoff, is like it's like a laugh. It's like oh, like that. That's what scoffing is. But needless to say, at the conclusion of her examination, as she continues to pepper her with these lasting statements, it should have been then the text communication. Because it's relevant in a sense to show a certain animus. It's just so long ago. So you can't appreciate the value of that, of something that happened years and years ago when this chick was 17 years old. If anything, it could show, okay, well, she has a mentality of somebody that's violent. But that in no way could any reasonable way could say, okay, yeah, this is evidence that she committed or partook in a murder, a murder of this young man's life. That's nonsense. So to start off with that, to show against some chronological history as to how they got here, didn't really make sense to me. I would have started with what she said in the interrogation, particularly her temperaments, how she responded, the laughing, nervous or not, the laughter, all of that stuff. I really wouldn't have sent it so much, wasted so much time on these texts, nor would I wasted all this time on these interactions while she was in jail, because it really doesn't go to the heart of her involvement in this case. But anyway, my opinion. Let's continue.
You have no clue what they're planning, right?
No.
You see the two spots here?
Yes.
They're open, right?
Yes, they are.
Where's the Impala?
Yeah, this is where you should have
It's
started.
parked on the side.
Where on the side?
And one of the other parking spots they had on the side.
Close to where that back door is, that side parking lot where the back door is?
I don't remember if it was close. I think it was like in the middle.
They had some bags, right? You have a bag right there.
Yeah, my bad.
So when all of those bags and stuff are unloaded, except for yours, they have to go through that back pathway to load all of those heavy guns, right?
I mean, I
It
can't
does
answer that. I
mean
didn't see them carried in there.
but it refers
And
to
you
the
didn't see
justice
Davy and
system.
Murphy in there either, did you?
Not when I first got there, no.
But eventually you did see him, right?
Yes, later
Oh,
on.
but she,
States Exhibit
like, laughed at him.
38A.
That's like the mafia.
So again, you saw him at the Airbnb.
Yes.
He's staying at the Airbnb.
I mean, if you consider that staying.
You lied to law enforcement about there being any other individual at that Airbnb other than you, Isaiah Chance, and his little brother, right?
Yeah, I didn't answer anything about the other people.
So that's a lie, right, ma'am? You lied to them about Davian Murphy, a member of 1200 or an associate of 1200, being at that Airbnb.
Yeah, I didn't want to answer anything about them, so I didn't answer.
Also,
See, and this line of questioning, it goes to the conspiracy. If you're saying, so boom, she was charged with two things: first degree murder and conspiracy to commit first degree murder. The conspiracy is really what, because you can't say it's, you could argue that she committed first degree murder because if you play any role in it, you in fact did it. But people don't really grasp that. When you think about first degree murder, people have this perception that you did it. Not that you was standing outside, not that you was playing lookout, even though we know that's a part of a crime. If you playing lookout for a hit, you're a part of it. But people want to wrap their minds around, yeah, you did it. So because it's kind of hard for seeing this little young lady doing something like that, especially when you see this the machine gunning, I think the way in which to start this is right here, where she's talking about her actual lying about knowing these people, right? So if you start off, hey, okay, you came to this Airbnb at this time. Why were you by yourself? Who did you come with? Oh, I came with. Where are they at? How did they get in there? Right? And then you show the video of going in the back. And then you talk about how when she knocked on the door, opened the door, somebody said, oh, my bad. Who is that? Right? Then you circle back to the interrogation where she's lying because the cops bring this very same thing up. Right? When you can, and she's acknowledging that she's lying, by the way. When you make it like that, when you create that notion that, you're talking about something that's based on a foundation of lies, i.e. conspiracy, that means, okay, you have at the very least know these people, right? You have a clear understanding of these people. You have a clear connection to these people. Otherwise, what are you lying for? If you didn't have any role in it, what are you lying about not knowing? Yeah, I don't fucking know. I was some dude in there when I came in there, right? If you invite me to your house, right? And I go inside your house and there's a bunch of dudes in there, yeah, they could maybe just came from or going to robbing a bank. But if I'm going into your house innocently, maybe to use the bathroom, maybe to whatever, and I see a bunch of dudes in there when I leave, if I'm questioned by the fuzz, while I'm going to plead the fifth, because I don't give a shit what the circumstance is. If I was in a circumstance and I'm talking to them, yeah, it was a bunch of dudes in there. Well, would they look? I don't know. Hey, okay, he had on red. I'm doing that. Just I'm walking. I'm coming in there, go take a piss, and then I'm leaving. I'm not taking count. I'm not checking out their gear. Right? Because think about that. When you walk into a supermarket, when you walk into an establishment, when you walk into someone's home, for the most part, unless you're some spy, you're not checking that head count of the room, right? Unless that's a part of your profession, these people are not even there. They're just figures. Your mind is thinking about what it is you're intending on doing when you get in there. You're not thinking about, oh, he has on an Armani sweater, right? You're not thinking about none of that shit. Well, I'm Mrs. CKB, so of course you are. No, I'm just kidding. But you get the gist. You're not thinking about that, right? So the fact that this prosecutor didn't start here, where it starts the foundation of lies, because she's lying. She's saying she's lying, and her rationale was, oh, I didn't think it was relevant. Oh, I just didn't want to be I didn't want to be a part of any. Yeah, criminal. That's of course. Anyway, let's continue. What's up? How do you pronounce this? Cynic Davis? What is it? I don't know. I don't. Snick as Davis? I don't know what the hell that is. How you doing, baby? I appreciate you showing up.
not relevant, right?
I mean, I wouldn't know, so.
36A. You don't know who this is, right?
At the time I did, but I do now.
You rode in a car with him for 3.5 hours, right?
Yes, I also went to sleep. I didn't really look at him like that.
You have been to his house for a barbecue. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Yes.
He was introduced to you by your boyfriend of over 3 years of his second family, right?
Yeah.
He introduced you to all of his family members, right?
I didn't say all of his family members.
You said he introduced you at that barbecue and said, "This is my second family," right?
Yes, but I don't know if that's his real family members.
So you're suggesting to this jury that when you are being introduced by your boyfriend to his second family, that he posed some fake people next to him?
I'm saying I don't know if he was talking about everybody that was standing there. Could have been talking about a
Why
particular.
is he asking? Like this literally is what I was just saying. So you invite somebody in your house, hey, come and say, hey, I gotta use the bathroom. Can I, use the bathroom? Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm like, yo, is anybody? Yeah, my people's in there, my cousins, my mother's. Like, all right, it's just something to say. Like my mind is using this bathroom. Hopefully it's clean. I can wash my hands and leave. For the most part, it's it's people that I work with that I don't know their names. I cannot remember their names for the life of me. It's people that I work with. Like, I do not know why this prosecutor is a fixate. She's fixating on the most, not to say it's irrelevant because it is, but it's like the way in which she organized these lines of questions. I just don't get it. And then and then it makes it, yeah, that happens. Like people are not spies. They're not investigators. They're not people where the nuanced facts matters. Yeah, they had on purple laces. This was a fake Coach belt. I remember that because I was a Canal Street. Like, I ain't thinking about that. It's let me, all right, to and from. And then with these kids where they got this perpetual ADHD thing where this TikTok brain, as they say, like everything is just rapid all over the place. They can't remember nothing, can't retain nothing, right? How many phone numbers do anybody remember these days? Right? It's like she's really dropping a ball on this otherwise kind of clean prosecution. She's really dropping a ball on this.
For the people.
But certainly Sean Gathright was there, right?
Yes, ma'am, he was there.
And he's one of the people, he's saying, "This is my second family," right?
No, he said little brother to him.
Part of his family. And then the rest of the people was his second family, right?
Yeah, he considered them second family.
And you care about Isaiah Chance?
I did.
And you would have us believe that after he introduced you to his little brother, his second family, you went off in some second room and never looked at his face?
I didn't go off to the second room. I just got a plate and went back to the car.
You hid in the car, right?
Yeah, I don't really talk much, so I got back in the car.
Oh, so you never had a conversation with him?
No, I just said hey and bye.
And you can't tell that this person in 36A is the same person in 36B?
I mean, at the time, it didn't really look like him. I just glanced at the picture. I said no.
And in the entire 3.5 car ride, you never looked at his face either?
I'm not staring him down, so I mean, no.
And at the entire time that you're at the Airbnb with him, you never looked at his face or had one conversation with him?
I didn't have a conversation with him, but I maybe glanced.
You were walking next to Isaiah Chance at Teasers. You were walking next to him at that parking lot when he was at Truth 18. I'm not going to play the videos again. You saw that. You guys were walking right next to him.
If you consider that right next to him, yes.
Some points you were a little behind him, is that correct?
Yes.
And some points you were right next to him, isn't that correct?
Yes.
And there were points when he has that phone, your phone, up to his ear.
Yeah, at certain points.
And at one point, when he has it up to his ear, he has to give it to you so you can do what?
Put the code in. That was at the first club.
And that's right. Put the call in, right? There is a call that is happening. And
I said the code.
The code. But there is a call happening. He's actually on the phone, right?
At the first club, he attempts to make a call, yeah.
Attempts, right? It's literally up to his ear.
Yeah, I don't think it went through.
Oh, because you're right next to him. You would know, right?
No, I mean, he didn't say anything, so that's why I said I don't think it went through.
And at some point, he hands it to you so you can do what?
I mean, I didn't put the code back in after that.
Just the one time?
Yes.
It didn't go off any other time that you were with him from the entire time to Teasers, to Truth 18?
I mean, later on, I think, yeah. At the next club, yeah.
What about in the car?
No, and the car was still unlocked.
And you never heard him utter one word on that phone while you were next to him in the parking lot at Teasers?
Teaser's just the first club, right?
Yes, ma'am.
No, he didn't say anything.
And he never said one thing the entire time when you guys are sitting in that parking lot at Teasers at the same point when Charles Jones is there.
He said something, but he didn't say anything about him.
What did he say?
He just was saying how all the people are just standing there, standing around.
He never had one phone call?
I mean, he tried to call. I don't know. Again, I don't know if he went through.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 94C1. You see this when he's on the phone actually sharing a live location with Sean Gathright that's occurring at 2 a.m. You see that?
Yes, ma'am.
He does that multiple times. So he has your phone a lot in that car, right?
Yes.
And so anytime there's inactivity on the phone, you got to do what for him?
Unlock it, but he never locked it back. If he didn't respond, he just went and got on something else.
He doesn't lock the phone, right? That's something that happens automatically based on time, right?
Yes.
When that phone locks up in the parking lot, it's not because he locked it, it's because there's a timing mechanism on your iPhone that makes it go dark, right?
I mean, yeah, but the first time we got the car, it's my phone. He stops me and asks for it, so it's not unlocked when he asks for it.
And then at some point, he starts texting NIGGA, pick up the FNO. He says that. He doesn't text it just once at 2:31. He sends this text again at 2:31 and 24 seconds. So he wants somebody to pick up that effing phone. Are you claiming when he's texting that, he's not saying anything to you?
No, not about that.
Do you see him desperately going like this?
No, not like he rushing. He just regularly typing.
He just casually texts,
Yes.
pick up the effing phone, twice.
Yeah.
And that was something that if he had done it very erratically, you would have noticed, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't.
That might have tipped you off that something pretty important was happening, right?
I mean, if you say so.
So he's just casually typing that in, and then he's sharing the location again later, 2 hours later. But after this exchange, he never gets a phone call. There's no conversation in that car.
I don't remember him having a conversation there.
But he's not sending one other text after he desperately texts that twice, right?
I don't think he did.
You don't think, or you're not willing to tell us?
I don't really know what he texts, so.
And you don't remember hearing him have any conversation?
Not right there, no.
And you remember Detective Ramos? And he was kind of acting out what he thought.
I don't know why it keeps going in and out. That's the video.
Video footage and some of the next to you in that car, and he's saying, right? He's in the driver's seat, right?
Yeah.
The passenger seat, right?
Yeah.
Remember that? It's and acts out, hey, get here, get here.
Yeah, I don't know why it keeps going in and out.
You better get here now. That you're claiming.
No, I told you what he said.
Okay.
On the time he was packed.
Yeah, I don't know.
And where y'all at?
Do you also remember where you're all at, right?
I'm talking about when he took the picture on.
Okay. Did you know who he was talking to?
Assumed it was his friends.
When law enforcement specifically asked you about Abby and Paula,
Yes, ma'am.
that to be at the home to suites, correct?
Video is even annoyed with her voice.
Know that.
You didn't see the black Chevy
I can't take this shit anymore.
friend was circling around the parking lot, not once, but that was a car that you had Jacksonville with Sean Gathright, right? Recognize that car in the parking lot?
I mean, I'm not gonna. Yeah.
So just a coincidence that you, right?
I mean, I'm not driving, so I can't tell you.
You
This is
with Isaiah Chance at both of those,
Yes, ma'am.
and you said on your direct examination
yeah, I'm on Law and Crime.
to the bouncers, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a
I didn't watch this though, so I didn't even notice.
To those clubs, I was referring to Players Club.
never mentioned the Players Club to you in that interview, right?
So I just assumed it was that club.
He showed you walking out of that club, correct?
Video when I said that.
He also showed you
He did.
at the front door. And they specifically asked you at teaser clubs that you went to whether or not you had, right?
I think he did ask me.
And you said them at both, and that the price was too.
I was talking about Players Club. I had the clubs mixed up at the time. I didn't know the name. Specifically that I said I talked to the bouncer, the guys that be.
And there's no. Right?
No.
You know that there's no video footage.
If he investigated it, he would have found it probably.
Video footage at teasers and Truth 8.
That's all the detective went and looked for.
And you admit that the bouncers at Truth 18, right?
I was referring to Players Club.
So you and your boy trip just went to walk in the parking lot of teasers, right?
Teachers is the.
You did, right? You just walked in the parking lot. You didn't even come.
I mean, yeah, we were standing there, but it's just to see.
And you have no say in the matter on your reconciliation. Go into the club?
I mean, I didn't have an issue with it. We didn't.
You're just happy on this trip to get back together.
It's killing.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, then, 18, that's the club with the second story. And that same thing happens. You just walk in the parking lot, right? Yeah. You don't even really walk up to the door. And Charles Jones is at that location.
I mean,
But you're okay just walking in the parking lot, right?
I didn't really care to go in that when he chose the last club. After he took me, at that point I am aggravated, so
Well, you said that. Right?
that's what he said.
Well, there was, at the time, tons of people in that parking lot, right?
It was people.
Even walk up those stairs to see inside, right?
We went by how many cars are outside.
How a car is, or how a club is packed by the cars, right? You said the next morning that Charles Jones, I'm not Charles Jones, that time he did come in, it was to what? So you could look check.
Yeah, he was showing me various outfits. Put back on what he had on because he didn't take any pictures. And
How he looks like, right?
sometimes.
A war with Julio Foolio online because Julio was closed, right?
I didn't know of that.
You had no idea. But he is doing an outfit check with you because he's concerned about it.
Really? He just saying, what do you think I should wear? Like a regular person.
You said you're going clubbing, right?
supposed to be.
Right. And how do you?
I mean, this will be our second time going club. When I go, I just wear whatever I want to wear.
Controlling about what you wear on your directed. And as a young woman, up, right?
Yeah.
In fact, hundreds of photographs on your phone.
Yeah, this.
Yes, ma'am.
He was wearing, it was June in Tampa. He was wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt up and a COVID mask.
Okay. Yeah, you don't really go out, so I don't know what
Wearing what?
I put on a jean jacket.
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Let me see if I'm gonna switch over.
Put on a jean jacket. I think I had on the blue pants and a regular shirt.
Is that how you normally go when you're going out for a night on the town to go clubbing?
I mean, no. Eventually, when I first arrived, I had a dress on, but once I realized other people were there, I took that off. So what you see me wearing is what I had on to McDonald's, and we stayed in the car, so I didn't go change. So I mean, I just kept what I had on.
Because when you go clubbing, you normally look like 75 C9, right? You like to get dressed up, wear a nice dress, right?
Correction, I'm not clubbing in that. I'm out of town with my family.
Okay. And where are you going when you go out of town with your family?
Nowhere. I just put that on and take a picture.
Okay. But there are literally photo after photo, Instagram video
Let me
after.
stop it right here. Let me switch it over. No audio. Hold on. Let me stop. Let me stop. I had all this time to say in the audio. Hold on. Let me stop it. Let me stop it. All that time, no fucking audio. Terrible. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me switch it back up. I don't know what was happening. I had to switch it so I could get this thing going. All right, give me a second. We're gonna put it back up in 3, 2, 1. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Like this is crazy. I don't know what's happening with what's the name. I'm gonna back it up just a bit to the where I switched it. I switched it right here.
No, where I just put that
Right
on and
here?
take a picture.
Okay. But there are literally photo after photo, Instagram video after Instagram video of you going out with your friends, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're not dressed in a jean jacket and what, were they sweatpants or?
No, they're just regular pants.
And when law enforcement asked you about Gutta, and I think the defense attorney played that for you, again, you specifically asked them, why are they calling him that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said that you are just surprised because they're law enforcement and you feel that they should be talking about his real name or mentioning him by his real name, right?
I mean, I didn't mean it like that. I'm saying I would have thought they would have came in a different way. We're starting the interview and you just say, oh, Gutta. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm just confused.
But you didn't say what. You said, why do you call him that, right?
Yeah, that was my response. But I'm saying in my head, I'm thinking, like, why are two detectives coming to me saying a nickname? Like, what is this about?
And then they laughed, and then they said, do you or you don't call him Gutta? And you shook your head no, right?
No, I don't call him that.
And it wasn't just you shaking your head no. You said, that's not a thing, right?
I mean, it's not a thing for me to call him that. That's what I meant.
But you just said, that's not a thing.
I said it's not a thing or something.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number. And Gutta, that's his rap name. That's the name that he uses for the gang, right? For those drill rap videos he makes. Gutta,
I
Gutta
wouldn't
Man.
necessarily say a drill name. It's just a nickname on Instagram.
But it's something you know, and you do call him that, don't you?
No, I don't call him that.
You just have it tattooed on your body, right? You have it tattooed down the middle of your chest. Gutta, right?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And that's not the only place. I'm also going to show you State's Exhibit 75G. It's there. It's a long tattoo, and it goes all the way down your chest, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're familiar that he calls himself Gutta.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that you have that tattoo on your body, you have never referred to him as Gutta?
No, I still call him by Zay.
That's not the only place on your body that you have that Gutta tattoo, is it?
No, I have another one behind my ear.
I'm gonna stop right here. You know what's crazy about this whole cross-examination is she's kind of trying to like play on the way in which the Scott Herman did his opening, and the way he concluded his opening was on this tattoo. Because listen, Scott Herman front loaded us, and when I say us, I mean the audience, front loaded us with all sorts of evidence, talking about the connections, the guns, the weaponry, the shell casings, her phone being left at the scene, the fact that she drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in a car with multiple individuals, but when she showed up at the Airbnb, she was alone. And then when she knocked on the door, she heard a male figure saying, "Who is that?" And how he was switching back and forth to showing that, so you drove there here and you come to MB by yourself, and how all of this stuff. And at the very tail end of it, he brought up the fact that she lied to the officers, and this was like a cherry on top thing. This didn't really have anything to do with the actual incident. And then he said, here you are talking about how you don't know who this Gutta guy is, yet the shit is tattooed all over your body. In fact, I'm gonna show you just a bit, and I want you to see her reaction to this. This is the actual closing. This is the opening statement. Just check out her reaction.
This is the defendant. This is Miss Andrews.
You don't even know what's about to happen.
In the interview with the officers, in the very beginning of the interview, the officers are asking her about Isaiah Chance, her boyfriend. Isaiah Chance's street name, gang name, and social media name is Gutta, or Gutta Man, Gudda. And they're calling him Gutta. And this is the defendant's response in the interview. Why are you calling him that? Why are you calling him Gutta? Like, you're idiots. Why are you calling him Gutta? Saying those words.
Okay, again, Mr. Harmon, just keep your statements
And
as
it's a
far as.
misstatement of the evidence, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
And it's a misstatement of the evidence.
Okay, well, when the jury, again, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as I told
They
you,
tripping
what
him
the
up, but
attorneys
look how he
say
do
in the
this, and then
opening
look at her
statement is
response.
not the evidence, and you're not to
skip
consider it
that
as
part.
such. They're just telling you what they believe the
Look at her
evidence will
face.
be.
Look at her face.
You
She's
will
tuned
be the
in.
ultimate decision makers regarding
She's
the
tuned
evidence
in.
and any weight that it carries, okay? All right, go ahead.
The evidence will show that as those words are leaving her lips, tattooed on her body, underneath her clothes, is the name Gutta. Not only on her chest, but on her neck. Over the next week, the state of
Look at her.
Florida,
Look.
through the evidence that we
Saw that? You saw that little quick nod? Infuriated. That's what the damn prosecutor now should be doing, as opposed to this ringing around a rosy bullshit that she's doing, with her now. You see how infuriated she just was? Because it's like you're showing that this girl lied. Now, what does that have to do with anything about the actual slaying? Nothing. It's just you're just lying about knowing a person. But it goes squarely into the conspiracy aspect of it. Because if you're not conspiring, let's just look at the rationale. This doesn't necessarily have to be true from the sense of what it is. But the rationale is, if it's no conspiracy, what are you lying about even knowing these people when you actually know these people? And it's not a matter you don't know these people. You spent days living with these people, traveling with these people. In fact, the individual in question, you're pregnant by him. Yet you telling these cops, I don't know who that is. Right? Yet you telling these cops, I don't know who that is. And you're pregnant by the motherfucker. That's how the prosecutor should have started, instead of waiting to the very last minute with it. Because again, the way in which Scott Herman did it, that was the cherry on top, the last, I guess, resounding statement to paint this disparaging picture about Alicia Andrews. The prosecutor should have done on cross-examination was to pull in all of these, you're lying, conspiracy, and then end it with all of these, the weaponry and all of this stuff. Because yes, it doesn't show that she did the shooting. Yes, it doesn't show that she was toting bags of weapon, or as Scott Herman said, gear, but it shows that she was a part of it. And when it comes to murder in the first degree, murder in the second degree, or any other murder for that matter, if you can show that you play a meaningful role, you committed the murder like as if you did it. That's how law is. It's a good Christian girl. Crazy. A good Christian folk. This is hilarious.
I'm going to show you State 75C11. That's it right there. So
Yes.
not once, twice,
Yes, ma'am.
referencing Isaiah Chance,
Yeah.
someone who you're no longer in a relationship, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So it wasn't a lie to law enforcement when you said that you don't call him that.
No, it wasn't a lie.
Turner, may I have one moment?
Yes.
Like, what is that even? Like, that was like such an empty. It's like a meteorite that has nothing to do. Like, that's like an empty world of vessel that she just did. She put that out for what? Like, what was the connection to the conspiracy or the connection to the first degree murder? It had nothing to do with nothing. Like, that was like such a waste of gotcha moment, so to speak. Crazy. Nice and dry. Nice and boring.
At the time when that photo, you said your Isaiah Chance took that photo in the parking lot of Truth 18?
Yes, ma'am.
That is, at that timing, that is when Charles Jones and his party are still up on that second floor. And you're saying you never saw that?
No, I didn't look up there.
Where are you looking at?
I mean, at him.
And you're looking at him taking the photo?
I don't think I was.
What?
I don't think I was. I seen the picture after because it's in my phone.
Are you looking at him when the photo was taken, or are you not looking at him?
I don't think I was.
So what are you looking at?
I think I was looking at him. Not
Tri-
like physically like what he's doing. I'm just sitting there just staring.
You're not looking at the club that you're supposed to be going to?
I can't remember if I was or not.
Okay. Well, you said that you can tell if a club is packed based on the cars in the parking lot, right?
Yeah, but we were parked on the other side. It was more cars.
Right, because there were parking spots available in Truth 18, right?
I don't remember that.
You could have driven through the parking lot and not even got out of the car if you could tell a club is packed just on the parking spots, right?
I mean, that's not my decision. Again, he's driving, so.
No. You said how young people determine whether or not a car or a club is packed is by the parking lot, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Both at Truth 18 and Teasers, there were cars in that parking lot. You didn't need to get out of the car to go up to the door to know that Teasers was packed, right?
Yeah, it was. But again, it's not my issue with the back places. It's his.
Well, what the issue is, you keep on giving us another reason why it is that you're in that parking lot. You understand that, ma'am?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just following him.
No, you said that you believe that you didn't go in because it's packed, right?
Yes, because that's what he said.
And you don't have to go into the club itself to know it's packed because of the parked cars in the parking lot, right, ma'am?
That's what I said. I don't know what he's thinking, though.
When you are at Teasers, you guys have to go around more than once to park because you can't find a parking spot, right?
Yeah, and then we see somebody coming out, so he just waited.
So it didn't matter that it's so packed you gotta wait for a parking spot to open up?
Well, we did get out, but, I mean, all the people in the front, that's when he decided he didn't want to go in.
So it's not the parked cars in the parking lot that tells you if the club is packed?
It is, but I'm saying once you seen all the people up there and nobody was going in, he changed his mind.
Judge, I don't have anything further.
Okay, redirect.
Ms. Andrews, do you want to answer any more questions?
I can.
I'll ask you one more question. There's a tattoo that's missing that hasn't been described on your arm here. What does that tattoo say?
Psalms 46, God is within her, she will not fail.
I'm going to sustain the objection. And is there
Oh,
another motion?
yes.
Judge, we would move to strike
That motherfucking lawyer.
Granted, stricken from the record. Jury's not
Yo,
to
he
consider
said his
it.
silly ass.
Gentlemen, just step out momentarily. Okay,
No,
we'll be
he
right with
said-
you.
All right.
Yo, he sat his silly ass down too. That shit was so funny. Y'all may not know what he just did, but he did something that was quite inflammatory. The last thing you could do is to inflame the jury to appear to their conscience. What he did was he dignified this proceedings with a book, a verse of the Bible, which was as she described. And what that does essentially is to show that she's this religious person, and it goes against all of the rules. In fact, he could have got admonished for that shit. I'm sure he got admonished, but yeah, that was, and it was the young guy too. That was so funny. Oh my god, that was absolutely hilarious. He said, "Can you answer any more questions?" He said, "I can." What did that tattoo say that they didn't mention? Oh my god.
All doors are up.
Okay, very good.
Because-
Let's have Ms. Andrews walked back to the defense table. And do you anticipate calling any other witnesses? Oh, okay, very good. I'll have you rest in front of the jury. State, do you anticipate any rebuttal?
I want to show y'all something. Check
Okay,
this out.
very good. So defense, do you have any, now that you have rested, do you have any
Hold on.
additional motions at this?
That picture right there, I stopped it there purposely because I remember seeing this when she got over the stand. A lot of times, a lot of people the jury don't see the stuff that happens in between the stuff that we see. Like they're not privy, at least they shouldn't be privy to law and crime. You know, I'm sure they all know Mr. CKB, but while we're covering this, they're not supposed to be on Mr. CKB. Either way, that photo right here, this image right here, that smile. Actually, let me go back there. I just fucked it up. I want to go back to this smile that she's gonna have.
You did.
All jurors are out.
Okay, very good. Let's
I'm
have
gonna
Ms.
go to that
Andrews
smile.
walked back to the defense table, and you anticipate.
You want to supplement our
What?
motion for the disqualification of the officer?
Anyway, damn.
All jurors
I'm
are
gonna
out.
catch it when
Okay,
you
very
see
good.
that
Let's
smile
have
that
Ms.
she had.
Andrews
That was
back to
such
the
a
defense
smile like
table, and
yeah,
you
these
anticipate
motherfuckers
calling any
got
other
him kind of
witnesses.
smile that
Oh,
as
okay,
Val
very good.
said,
I'll have you rest in front of the jury.
I
State,
did
do you
it smile.
anticipate any rebuttal?
this as the older crowd would say that shit even in ring.
Okay, very good.
Hold on, let me stop it.
So, defense, do you have any, now that you have rested, do you have any additional motions at this?
Like, and she had that smile. You know what that smile was? That smile was the smile that I took your apple or I took your candy. That 999. That's what that smile was. Like the way in which she walked, that seduction, that and that disconnection that the older crowd have with the younger crowd. That's the disconnection. Not callous, because that's not the appropriate term, but it's that deceit that the younger crowd have these days, and it's really, really different, really, really different. Anyway, so that was that with respect to the case. Now they obviously had the closing arguments. I'm not going to go into closing arguments because I think it's redundant at this point. We all know what happened. What occurred was what occurred. The jury found her not guilty of the first degree as well as the conspiracy counts, but found her guilty of the manslaughter counts. And again, if you don't know the difference, the glaring difference in manslaughter is a negligent or you committed a criminal negligent act or an unlawful act that you either voluntarily or involuntarily did. In this instance, I think the jury looked at it as an unlawful act that she involuntarily did, right? That's what I think she did. And the involuntariness was being the cloak, right? Traveling down there, presumably not being unaware that the crime was going to commit, but you had access to certain things that it's impossible for you to believe the crime didn't commit. Because, like, just think about it like this. I want to know why no one asked her questions about if the theory is these kids traverse from Jacksonville to Tampa with artillery. You know, the prosecutor called it gear, but with artillery. Where the hell did they store that weaponry at while they was in this Airbnb, right? I'm sure it had to have been a certain point where they went through the weapons and what have you. Now, an argument could be raised that perhaps maybe they did this when I was in a fucking McDonald's because she did leave the McDonald's. But that was a small window period in connection to when the cars were leaving because they was able to track the cars going to and from. Another thing that the prosecutor didn't highlight was, okay, say you don't know what's going on. However, you got into an argument. According to you, he was abusive. So he was jealously abusive. I didn't cover it, but that's what she was talking about. He was jealousy. You said that you was dealing with a guy or talking to a guy. You wasn't dating, talking to a guy that he was in jealous rage, right? So much so that y'all broke up, right? Now you have passwords on your phone, correct? And then while those passwords was being on your phone, if nothing is happening with your phone, it would automatically cut off, and then you got to initiate the password to go it again, right? She says yes. Okay, so when he was doing all this communicating conversation, you was right next to him, correct? So throughout the time that he was communicating and conversating with him while he was right next to him, did you hear him say anything? No? All right, cool. So you mean to tell me you're going to let these juries, you're going to tell me that the juries is supposed to believe that you have this jealous man that is abusing you, and he will have stuff in your phone that he has easily access to. In fact, the very same text communication that you had with other guys is still in your phone. That you're not at the very least, at least paying attention to see whether or not he's going to get in your phone, especially when you have all of this fear phobia that he's going to attack you. So it's either you're afraid or you're not afraid. It's either you know what he's talking about, he's not, you don't know what he's talking about. Right? All right, so cool. Let's get past that. When you're leaving, you see all of these bags that being carried. Did you have an opportunity to see what they had? No? Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. When you travel, how much bags do you typically take with you? Right? Oh, okay. What do you typically take in those bags? How long do you travel? When you travel, how much bags do you take? Did anything dawn on you to know that perhaps maybe something to be in these bags? I know it's speculative, but do you know anything to be in these bags? Do you know this guy? Have you ever traveled with Isaiah Chance before? And when you travel, how does he travel? Like those kind of questions is what I would have paired out, because then it would show that it's hard for us to believe that you didn't know what the fuck was going on. It's hard for us to believe that maybe you committed an unlawful act that you involuntarily did, given the weaponry, given the luggage, given the travel, given the convoys that was going simultaneously, given the fact that when the deed was done, the kid drove the car that y'all was driving all in to one location and then swapped cars with his grandmother and came on. You didn't ask any questions? Like all of these little things is what I would be asking about. In fact, when they first drove up, the dude had a firearm in his hand. In fact, let me show you what the dude had. When they first pulled up, look how the kid closes the door. Let me show you how the kid closes the door. Like all of this stuff is what I would have pulled or had her testify to, because all of this stuff is not the speculative. It would be, have you seen this again? Where is that? Let me show you something. Let me see if I can find that specific point where he closed the door with the weapon in his hand. Maybe in the beginning. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I can find it now. Probably can't find it. You know, you never can find stuff that you're actually looking for. But I want to see if I can find it. The dude had the actual handgun in his hand. No, let me see. Let me see if I can find it. I will go to this photo, or I will go to this still, and I would ask him, well, where were you when this occurred? Or I would lead up to make sure I can isolate her specific position and show her, well, where were you when this specific position occurred? This right here. I think this is, hold on. Is this it? Is this it? Let me see. All right. So yeah. So you see how I'm gonna mute it that way because what he's saying is kind of irrelevant to my point. So, but I want you to see what the direction, or at least the line of question as to why I would have been asking this. So this part right here, I would have brought to her attention this. I would have asked her when this was happening, right? It's muted on purpose. I would have asked her when this was happening, where was she? Right? Now, if she would have said she was inside, okay, what was in these bags? See these big ass hefty bags that you was only there for a couple days for? Right? You see your boyfriend right here? This is your boyfriend, right? I made her identify him. All right, cool. You see this big ass bag, all of these cars, which I would have identified as convoy, to put in the jury's mind of what kind of, these were death machines. These were vehicles of death. Right? What was in these bags? Where's your bag, actually? Right? Where's your actual bag? Like, see all of this stuff? Is that your bag there? This white bag or pinkish bag? You know, a lot of little young girls is in this pink thing. All right, what did you travel with? All of those questions would have been asked, right? Do you typically travel light or heavy when you're traveling for a couple days? Because you're only talking about a day or two. They traveled, and that night they did the killing and they left the next day. So let's just give them 2 days. Assume an argument, right? Do you typically travel with all of those bags? And if so, what's in those bags? Right? Obviously, they would object to speculation, but if you know, do you know what was in those bags? Right? Right here. Let me show you what this, look at this shit. I would have, this is her boyfriend. Remember, this is Isaiah Chance. This is her boyfriend. If you don't know who that is. Look at this gun. This is the day they're leaving, right? This is the day they're leaving. This is direct evidence of the weapon. If you don't know what that weapon could be, I'm not saying it is. If you don't know what that weapon could be, That weapon could have been this weapon right here. Let me see if they, because they do show the shooting. Let me see. The first drum of shots. The first shots. Let me see. Hold on. All right. The first shots that rang out is from that handgun.
That is the surveillance and reconnaissance vehicle.
All right, hold up. It's not there yet. I'm gonna continue on. Continue on. The first couple of shots that rang out is from a handgun, right? So if the first couple shots that rang out, they already started shooting already. If the first couple of shots that rang out that they sped off and drove off, which didn't have any brass bag to it, that they never recovered, right? I would have asked, well, have you ever seen this weapon? And if so, where is it? This weapon right here. Let me see if I can find it. This weapon right here. This 9mm, this Glock with a stendo right here. So I would have asked Bruce out questions that went solely and exclusively to what she witnessed. Because again, obviously she's not going to say she was a part of conspiracy. Obviously she's not going to say I was a part of a plan. Obviously she's not going to say that we went out there for the sole purpose of unaliving Julio Foolio. But what we could possibly get her on is questions centered around whether or not she partook in the act. And I think if you could ask her questions that centered around the activities that they partook to execute said act, you could then pull her in a direction to show that she either was a part of or aware of said conspiracy. And if you are aware of said conspiracy, then we can get into, okay, to what capacity? Were you our scouter? Did you allow them to use your phone as a tool to communicate the attack code or the attack, statement? Right? Because again, when you're looking at a conspiracy, listen, giving somebody, bringing food, feeding them as they plan this out is a part of the conspiracy. You don't actually have to have the machine gun and you bursting it off. Remember, she went to the fucking McDonald's and bought an overwhelming amount of food. That could be the soul connection to it. But that's enough. Right? I don't know what the likes are like, but whatever it is. Let me see, because sometimes y'all be treating me like I'm a part of this damn conspiracy. Let me see what the likes is, because I got 100 and something people up in here. All right, 60 likes. Okay, I got 130, 60 I gotta have. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But yes, you said she was a spotter. I agree. Spotter, perhaps decoy. The prosecutor, Scott Herman, said that the reason why they made sure that she was in a parking lot with him because a couple is less, is less threatening. If it's a man and a woman together, you're not really paying attention. But if you was a dude by yourself, who that nigga? You know how we treat each other. We hate each other. Who that nigger? Right? We talk about the white folks, but we really hate each other. Anyway, I don't know. But yeah, I would go so far, at least in terms of her role, I would say her role, if anything, would have perhaps been a spotter, a lookout, or just a part of the support team. You said, what would you do if you were in her positions in the relationship and be told what you had to do, etc.? What would you do, boss you around? What I would then, let's just say if I was in her position, once she felt she was safe in the sense of that he can't do anything to her, no, I would cooperate. But it's certain syndromes that they didn't bring in, and of course the prosecutor didn't bring in, which will be considered baddest women syndrome, or the other one that kind of falls in line with this, not like this, but kind of falling in line with this, is what's the fuck is this shit? Damn, I can't remember the name of that syndrome, but it's almost like you're appeasing to your captors. I can't remember the name of that syndrome, but it's like you're appeasing to your captor. Let me see if I can Google it. Let me see something. It's a specific kind of syndromes that. Hold on, what the hell is this? Give me a second. Let me see. Stockholm syndrome. So an argument could be raised that she suffered from some sort of Stockholm syndrome, given all the abuse and all this other stuff. But the fact that she lied, remember, she was lying from the gate. She was lying. She lied. I didn't even know who this dude is. Who is Isaiah Chance? Like, let's go to it. I'll show you the let's pull up the interrogation. It's just the very beginning of it. So it's not like it's a lot that we got to look at. But it's the very beginning is what Scott Herman was talking about. Let's look at this interrogation right quick. Actually, why did I do it this way? I'm gonna put this in the browser. It's easier to look at. Let's look at the very beginning of this interrogation. And in the very beginning of this interrogation, she's outright lying. Now, we're not going to watch this whole goddamn thing, right? I'm sure you guys have places to go. I got places to go. I got some food to eat, right? Check this. Look at this right quick. At the very beginning of the interrogation, despite the fact that she got the shit tatted on her neck, listen to what she said. I'm speed it up a bit.
Informed decision about your life and where
After
you
they do
understand
that,
that?
Miranda.
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us what's going on here?
Waiting on New York.
Okay, where are you at in the city?
I-10.
Do you remember what time you were in?
Yeah, 10.
Can you tell us what you're doing down there? Usually be honest.
I had to like remember what before that, so he had to remember me.
Who's he?
My boyfriend.
Got it?
Yeah. What you call me?
First off, he said, who is he? She said, my boyfriend. He said, gutter. And she said, yeah. And then she laughed, scoffed. Why you call him that?
What do you call her?
Is there a way to turn up the volume?
Say,
I'm having trouble
say,
hearing.
does he go back? You don't call, you never call him that?
They're going to start it over because they can't hear.
Okay.
That places.
You are missing your. So, you guys went to some clubs? You remember what clubs?
Yeah.
You?
Yeah.
And that's it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know the name of that club?
I didn't want to live in.
So they showing her the club. But anyway, the point that I was getting at, I don't know why I keep doing that. Let me take this shit off. I don't know why I did that. I didn't mean to. Fuck. I don't know why I just did that. I have it in the wrong view. Let me just close this out. Anyway, the point that I was getting at is the fact that how she lied. And when you start lying and start saying you don't know this, you don't know that, you don't know why this, you don't know why that, it kind of nullifies the idea that you was this, you didn't know anything. It's not a matter of you didn't partake, but you didn't know anything. So if you didn't know anything, or if you say you didn't know anything, now all of a sudden you know everything, or now all of a sudden because you're safe, you can speak. It kind of it falls in line with that. She lied on the stand. Yeah, listen, let me say this. When it comes to trials, a person to swear on the penalty of perjury that they're going to tell the truth. You got to kind of take them for their word. Whether or not they're lying, again, that goes into that's what the jury is there for, to check their character, to determine the veracity, to look at their past, if they have a criminal past, and in a way that against whatever evidence is being presented before them. And that's kind of what the jury decides. But the jury is only limited to what evidence that comes off that witness stand. They can't consider Mr. CKB's rationale. They can't consider the rationale of some wacko who hates women. They can't consider any of that. All they can consider is what comes out of that witness stand or what is stipulated to, right? So if the parties stipulate to this being this, then they could come, or what the judge instruct them, right? Because prior to a trial, you go through a pre-trial motion stage, one of which is a motion in limine, which goes into either the preclusion or admittance of certain testimony certain evidence that both parties will either say is prejudicial or it's non-prejudicial. Well, it's prejudicial, but the probative weight outweighs the prejudicial value of it, right? So after that, then it may be some stuff you're going to stipulate. And then everything else is either something that the judge specifically instructs the jury to consider or comes off the witness stand. But other than that, it's like, that's what you have to weigh. Based on your experience of life, you have to be in a position to be able to say, yeah, I think this person is lying, or I think this person is minimizing, or I think this person is omitting certain facts. So I think this person is being coy about certain things. Yeah, that may be some satire. No, that's condescension. Oh, no, she's being argumentative. She's being hostile. You know, the jury has to get all of it. Well, hostile is different. Hostile is a distinction. But nevertheless, in that vein, in that bracket or so, if you will, the jury have to be able to weigh that. But, you know, listen, like I said, the end result of this all, without going into too deep into any analytical front, the end result of it all is, in my opinion, I think the state had a case, but they just let it fall. And, you know, and this should be like, it's cases like this that should let people know that just because you're being indicted does not mean you're being convicted, right? And also should let you know that just because a person has been practicing for 30 plus years, because I think this prosecutor was practicing for 30 years. I think she was admitted in 88. Let me see, Michelle. What's his? I think it's Michelle. What's his damn lady name? State. Yeah, Michelle Doherty. This is Michelle Doherty's background. This is Michelle Doherty. This is the state prosecutor, the one that was with the singy voice. This is her bar profile. I'm gonna do it this way. Right? So she's admitted in 1998. Right? 1998. So almost 30 years she's been practicing law. She went to the great state of New York. She went to Syracuse University. Right? She works for the state attorney's office. So she's been practicing for close to 30 years. 30 years, almost. 27 years. And she's just fumbled and you know. So just because a person have, you know, all of this time practice, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're this proficient, really great detailed trial attorney. You have a lot of attorneys that never try anything, right? It's just the way it is. Now, criminal defense attorneys or criminal prosecutors, they typically have more trial experience than anything because majority they go through a lot of trials. And then even before, she's a part of the major crimes unit. Even before that, you know, you have, you know, when you work at the prosecutor's office, it go in stages. You start with like, you know, petty offenses, misdemeanors, and things of that nature. And then you work your rank up. And when you get seniority, you kind of pick what department you're in. She's a part of the major crime. So you really got to be a really good attorney. It's without question. I'm not suggesting she's not a good attorney. She just dropped the ball in this instant. But that's my take on this, man. You know, I dropped the link a little while ago. Nobody jumped in. So, you know, we're going to end it right here. So I'm Mr. CKB. This is not a lawyer show. This is a show about a lawyer, a particular one with for more than a decade. I've been in this thing we call a legal business. Look. When it comes to criminal law, it's not much I haven't seen. I've been prosecuted. And I've also been on the side defended against the prosecution. Make sure you like, comment, share. And until next time, I'm Mr. CKB and I'm out. This is not a law student show. Don't judge me.